Oh, yeah. I am awake and alive.
I'm so great I gotta say it twice and cut it out once. My head's a syrup bottle that's getting tipped over every Wednesday. You're a storyteller in a storytelling podcast, and the only story you're telling now is a story about stories you don't want to tell! What the fuck? Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. I have a question for you folks, and I'm going to need an answer, and I'm going to need you to answer out loud because I'm sitting right there with you now. The ghostly personage of me. Personage? The ghostly personage. I don't know how that's pronounced. It's personage. Yeah, but I said it wrong because I didn't open my mouth because I Elvised it the first time I said it here. It's personage. Personage. Look it up, folks. I can't do everything for you folks. I said folks a million times there. Folks. All right, so. I have a weird echo in my head, so that might come into play at some point. We can't understand why, because she has me turned up, and I like being turned up anyway, because my ears are fucked. I gotta go dump some peroxide in those later to avoid, because I'm flying next week. I was gonna do it. I actually took the equipment to clean my ears to Boston. I was like, I brought peroxide and Q-tips and all that. But come on, I'm a jet setter. What am I gonna do in Boston? Lay there with peroxide on my ear? I can't do that. I gotta keep my eye out with Paul Revere and see if the British are coming. All right, so. Was that Boston? That was in Boston, right? Yeah. I think it was. 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, 3 if you got peroxide in your ear. Folks. So, here's my question to you, and you can answer again, like I said, out loud, because I'm right there in your car. I am sitting in, I can't do it, never mind. Folks, if someone asks you to come and do something, if they offer you a job, all right, someone offers you a job, and then you say, yeah, you know what, I'll take that job. And then they go, great. Prove to us that you can do that job. That's incorrect, right? That's not the way it's supposed to work. If someone contacts you and they say, hey, we want you to do something, and you go, great, I'm in, I'll do it. And they go, okay, now send us a bunch of things that prove that you can do it. No, you should have never fucking asked me if you didn't think that I could do the job in the first place, correct? Is that right? Folks, this is vague. I got to tiptoe past this because I still am in play for this. I think. I don't know. We'll see. It depends. It depends on if I can go ahead and prove to them that I can fucking do it. And again, I'm just being silly. I'm not really mad, but I guess I sort of am because I just don't understand the fucking world. I don't understand how someone can call me and say, hey, dude, we think you'd be great for this. And you go, great, I'd love to do it. And they go, fine. Now send us about 8 things that prove that you can do it. Well, no. You just fucking said I would be great for it, right? Didn't you just contacted me out of the... I didn't bother you at all. You were on the other side of the fucking world, and you said, hey, why don't we call Mike Schmidt? And then you did, and I said, great, and then all of a sudden you went, well, so prove it. Fuck prove it. I'm tired of prove it. I prove it every goddamn week. I prove it all night, as Bruce Springsteen would say. And I'm wrong here. I know I'm wrong. I guarantee that I'm wrong. But at the same fucking time, I don't care. I've been wrong my whole life. I'll continue to be wrong in the future. But Jesus Christ, if you offer me a gig and I say yes... Actually, all right, this is incorrect. I'm misrepresenting this because they're going to hear this and they're going to be like, that's not how it happened at all. These people contacted me and they're like, we think... here's a great idea we have, and we think you would be very good for it. Why don't you tell us what it would require for you to come and do it? So then I said, okay, great. And I gave them my, this and this, and I said, let me know anything you need from me to get me the gig. And they said, fine. And then they contacted me again, and they're like, all right, well, we need to find some examples to present that would show that you can do this. And I said, well, all right, well, you should have those because you contacted me, and obviously you've heard in the past that I'm capable of doing this, right? And then they wrote me again, and they're like, all right, well, we've run your idea past these certain people, and now we just need to get some examples and some samples that say that you can do this. So what do you recommend we do? Well, I recommend you have them in fucking mind before you contact me, right? Why don't you look and reflect back on the things that convinced you I could do this in the first fucking place, and then use those as your bulldozer to convince these people that I can do this, all right? Instead of making me now go, duh, I don't know, duh. Motherfucker, I proved it. That's why you called me. And I understand I got to go in front of the fucking committee and do my flash dance and dump a bucket of water on me in my singlet. That's fine. If that's what I got to fucking do. And yes, I'm mixing up dances. I understand bucket of water was Cynthia Rhodes in the club, and singlet was Jessica Biel's stand-in. Cynthia. Oh, I think wasn't it Cynthia Rhodes? Who was it? Cynthia Rhodes did both of them. Jennifer Beals didn't dance. No, she didn't. No, she didn't.
Yes.
Jennifer Beals did none of the dancing. Guaranteed. Look it up. I'll wait. I'll fucking wait. Jennifer Beals did not do the dancing in Flashdance. It's like a big deal because it's like everybody thought that she did, and no, all she did was wear a goddamn ripped sweater. That's what she did. You know what Jennifer Beals' talent was? She looked like she was raped. That's what her talent was in fucking Flashdance. She didn't dance. She didn't get that fucking, she didn't even do the welding. Oh my God, she didn't do the welding. Although I got to be honest with you, Jennifer Beals had a much better chance at doing the welding than she did doing the dancing. I guarantee you she had a much better chance of learning the welding part than she did the dancing part in Flashdance. Oh, what a feeling. Did you look it up?
Yes.
Beals.
It was a French actress.
Told ya. Yeah, Jahan. You know what? Get fucking Jahan to do this gig. You think that I can't fucking prove it? Call fucking Shireen Jahan. What's her name?
It's either Jahan or Jahan.
Fucking Jahan. Jahan. That's her name. It's like Zidane. Zidane. Whoever the fuck that soccer dude who's a headbutt a guy. Although this dancer didn't headbutt anybody, I can tell you that. But still, get her. You know what? Fuck, you don't think that I can prove it? Get this fucking French dancer. Maybe you do that. Maybe you tell everybody you're hiring me, and then just bring a French dancer in to do a fucking singlet hop. By the way, the singlet hop is my favorite dance from the 20s. Oh my God. There was sure, you know what? Take your Lindy Hop and hop away because the fucking singlet hop dominates. And I put my leg warmers on and I got my singlet and do the singlet hop and I got those fucking stuffy old people sweating and looking at me and I don't fucking care. That's what you want me to do. You want me to come to town and dance for your committee? I'll fucking do it, God damn it. No, I won't. Use what you've got. I already danced for you people. You've got tape of me dancing for 4 years. Take the tape you have of me dancing for 4 years and bring it to the committee and prove to them that I can do the dance that they want me to do. Fuck. I'm exchanging emails with these people and it's great. And I did say whatever you need from me. Well, not what I did. But so what? Whatever you need from me, I've done it in the past because you heard it. That's why you thought of me. What the fuck do you need from me? Now I got to silver platter it? You want me to fucking bow tie it for you? You want to put it in a goddamn gift wrap box? And he said to me, he's like, let me know what episodes you need me to download. Well, don't you have them? Doesn't everybody save every word that I say and keep them on their computer hard drive? And look, I'm happy to be thought of. All right, there's no doubt. This is why I don't get gigs because the one person who offers me a gig, I come on here and I eviscerate them. But I'm not really. They recognize that, right? They know because they listen to the show. They must have because they thought enough to reach out to me and have me do a goddamn gig. Look at this fucking Mobius strip we're in right now, folks. It's just twisting in itself. Oh, my God. This is like Escher stairs. That's what I'm doing. I'm just going up and down fucking stairs and not getting anywhere. This is a fucking MC Escher podcast with a Mobius strip chaser and a singlet hop. Jesus Christ. Can't I just get a job? Can't someone just go, we love you, and thrust a handshake on me, hand me a cigar, and sit me down at a big table and have me sign a bunch of papers, and then that's it? What about the old days when they'd say, kid, I'm going to make you a star? First of all, I'm not a kid. Second of all, nobody wants to make me a fucking star. God damn it. I don't even want to be a star. If someone said, kid, we're going to get 1,000 people who are going to buy everything you do for the rest of your life. Done. I don't care. I'll have 1,000 people. If I have a cult of Schmidt that's just 1,000 people, I don't need to reach out to fucking anybody else. And I do. I reach out to everybody. God damn it, it's more than 1,000 people. You guys know it. Look around. Look around you. The ghosts of more than 4,000 people a week, 5,000, 6,000 people a week are listening to me. And you can look around and see them right now in your car. They're all packed in because we're all in this fucking together. All right? We're all in the same car driving in the same fucking direction with me in our heads. Marching toward fucking what? I don't know, obscurity? No, you know what? Bullshit. Marching from obscurity, because that's where I've been forever. It's not like I'm anywhere good. It's not like I'm somewhere and marching toward obscurity. I'm in obscurity. We're trying, and like I said, I'll take you 1,000 people with me. If I could just get 1,000 fucking people who will buy everything I do, 1,000 coffee mugs, 1,000 t-shirts, 1,000 tickets to shows, fine, done. That'd be perfect. I've been talking to my buddy Gio, and by talking, I talked to him once. He's probably listening to this going, you haven't talked to me. You return a fucking email, you dick. And he had an idea of how to make some money. He's like, dude, this will be a really cool thing. And I'm like, it sounds good, but I would have to lay out a certain amount of money in order to make that money. And then all of a sudden, like, is this Gio or Bernie Madoff? Who the fuck am I talking to now? It turned into a pyramid scheme. Like, at first he was like, I'll do this. And I'm like, great. And look, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't get mad. Nobody write Gio and tell him he's a dick. It's a joke. You always have to spend money. All right, you always have to spend money to make some money. So I guess making the effort of putting together the thing that I have to do for these other people to go in front of the committee is kind of the spending money of this gig, right? Is that what I'm saying? I guess I don't understand why people just don't walk up to me on the street and go, you're a genius, here you go, here's some money. And then that's it. Walk away. Leave me alone. Consume the things that I've put out there already, for fuck's sake. Just go ahead and buy them and enjoy them and love them, because I've done so much in the past and I don't want to do anything else in the future. I want to rest on my laurels of the last 4 years of podcasting. That's it. 4 years and 9 episodes. And that's it. This is the last one. I want to just kick it. I want to just fucking stop. It's so funny when he's like, we need to know what stories to send to those people. I almost want to send them all of the download sets. There you go. Here, you know what? Here you go. Here's a ton of gold. Pan through it and find what you think will get me the gig. Because I have churned out 4 years of fucking gold, folks. And if that's not enough to get me a gig, I don't know what the fuck is. But then again, it isn't. It isn't, because here I sit. All right. I don't understand the weird logic of, hey, we would love to have you. Fantastic. I'd love to do it. Great. Prove that you want to do it. What? I just said, yes, I'm in. You were the ones who offered me the gig. Dear God, I hope that they recognize that I'm kidding, because I would hate to lose. I would really hate to lose this opportunity over me being silly on the fucking podcast. Hey, I heard your dick friend. What if they played this for the committee? You know what? Play this for the committee. See how they handle this. Hey, this is the guy we were thinking of bringing in. We've got some other stories that seem like they might be appropriate, but why don't you listen to this right now? Did he say singlet hop? What did he just say? Some guy adjusts his tie and puts his glasses up over his nose. I don't think this is the young man we want coming to our institution. And I say, oh, I feel the music. All right. What a feeling. God damn it, folks. I think I'm just going to name the show Folks. I've said it a million times. Folks, I do feel the music. I'll tell you what music I feel. Dude. Did you guys see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing on HBO? Anybody out there? You look around your car. Anybody not? I got to start doing this show where I'm like with people. Like, how funny would it be to just start having like a little tiny, like a little studio audience for like 6 people come and watch me, and then I will actually ask them questions and engage them, because then you wouldn't have to listen to me bitching. That's a lie. I would bitch about whatever answers they gave me. That's all I would do. I'd just fucking let them have it. Hey, by the way, I'll tell you this. I'll throw this at you. A couple of things. These are plugs, but you know what? I have so many plugs at the end of the fucking show that I should spread my plugs out, folks. Spread them out. Spread out your tweakedaudio.com/40 plug. Spread out your coffee mug plug. By the way, we're selling coffee mug plugs. Because our coffee mugs have holes in the bottom. So it was a design. It was a design flaw, but that's okay, because now we designed coffee mug plugs. Those are only fucking $6. And you know what I make from those? 4 cents. Fuck you, Zazzle. All right, but go to Zazzle and get a coffee mug. Anyway, how terrible. Zazzle's not listening. What the fuck? Actually, they are. They were the ones who invited me to their event. Hey, we'd love to have you come talk at our Zazzle convention to talk to people about shitty T-shirts and nonsense, fucking shoes and stamps and whatever the fuck else we can slap your mug on to try to steal money from you. I charge $17.95 for those mugs. Folks, there's a Thorgar and Yeet mug and a Fireboy mug. Go get them if you want them. Go look at them if you want to look at them, because they're pretty cool looking. The design on the Fireboy mug is great because it's got a little backwards thing. It's awesome. It's great. Go check them out. But they're like $17.95. You know what I make from that, folks? Guess what I make? Guess what I make from that $17.95? No, I actually make $3. I make $3, yeah. Because but that's the thing, is you have to adjust it. Normally they're $14.95, then I would make no money. And then you have to adjust accordingly how much you choose to make, like royalty rate and all that sort of thing. And I don't know who Mr. Zazzle is, but he's loaded. He's so loaded. I picture a guy like Rick Zazzle somewhere, and he's just like walking around in garish, like fucking shitty T-shirts and shoes with my face on them, drinking out of a mug that I sold, and he's just spending tons of cash over and over, just putting the Zazzle name out there for everybody, and he just constantly. I picture him and who's that? Rick Zazzle and Tommy Cafe Press. And they're sitting around a fucking pool, and they're just laughing and burning money to stay warm, even though it's 95 degrees. And everybody's like, why are you burning this money to stay warm? It's 95 degrees. And they're like, fuck you. Here's a tchotchkes. And then they throw like a fucking, a salt and pepper shaker that says, hang in there, baby. And they throw it at them. And whoever designed it made $1 off of it, but they don't fucking care. They just fucking throw it. Goddamn Tommy Cafe Press and Rick Zazzle, you fucks. Exploiting the internet and exploiting all sorts of merchants. All right, I'm not a merchant. What if I was a merchant? Oh, Christ, I don't want to be a merchant. Although I live near Venice. All right. So, folks, I had a question. What did I ask people? I was asking people something.
No idea.
I don't remember. I'm things are up in the. By the way, I should reach out to you fine folks for this. Hey, last week's show was uncomfortable for me to do. physically and mentally. I don't like talking about those sorts of things. I'm not a fan of discussing that sort of thing with you. Nobody wants to hear about my ass for any extended period of time. And last week, unfortunately, that's what it all centered around. That's where that was my center of gravity was right around there last week, so I had to bring it to you. But thank you for understanding to a certain extent, and also thank you, people, for reaching out with all of your home remedies for that affliction. And everybody's got a different thing. We know who Idaho Kirk. You guys remember Idaho Kirk, my old web guy? He reached out to me, and his was trust me, this is the way to do it. His is like to pour salt all over my ass. Like he's like, make an Epsom salt bath. And then, unfortunately, folks, and I apologize for the visual, I'm supposed to position myself in a way where I can throw my legs in the air and then and dump salt, like in areas where you should not have salt. And I'm like, to me, it sounds like that brain tumor fucked him up a lot worse than I thought it did. Because this is not comfortable, and to pour salt right on it, I mean, that just seems like it's going to burn the fuck out of it, isn't it? It's going to do some weirdness, and but he swears by it in his note. And then other people had all sorts of creams and remedies, and then an actual pharmacist reached out to me. Our friend Linda, who listens to the show, who I think I met her in San Francisco, I believe, and she wrote me on. She wrote on my wall, and she's like, she goes, I have to admit, I laughed my ass off at you, even though it's terrible. She goes, but if you want actual information on what to do, you should reach out to me. And so I did, which was weird and uncomfortable. But she's a pharmacist. She's like, she's got a white coat. Of course, she's going to know everything about my ass, right? Anybody wearing a white coat is going to know everything there is about my ass. I don't give a fuck if I'm in a Walgreens or if I'm in a Costco or if I'm in a Rite Aid or if I'm in a Baskin Robbins. If you got a white coat on, I'm going to ask you questions about my ass and you'll have the answers. Although Baskin Robbins, that doesn't sound so bad, actually. Just jam some ice cream in your ass. Oh, it would have worked out perfectly last week. That was I would have gone right for that. If that would have been one of your solutions, if you would have said, hey, go get a package of popsicles and just keep jamming them up your ass, I would have said, well, first of all, I do that anyway. It's not gonna that's my summer. I don't know where you guys are from. It's perfect. No, what are you talking about? You don't think that's a good idea? It works out great. Try it. You know what? All of you people, ladies, men, ladies, you can use whatever hole you want. Men, you know which hole to use, and just grab a popsicle and just ram it right in. Well, don't ram it. That's pretty uncomfortable. And also, you gotta work the popsicle a little bit first because you don't want to just jam an icy popsicle up there because then it's gonna. You ever see Christmas Story? Yeah, you don't want that. Then it's just the popsicle's gonna stick to your ass like the tongue to a goddamn light pole. You don't want that at all. You gotta work it up. You still gotta look, folks. You still need lube. All right, so. Jesus Christ. I actually just gave step-by-step directions of how to fuck yourself with a popsicle. So. It's going to get me the gig. You know what? This is the story to use. You guys want to send something to the committee? Give them this. Fuck yourself with a popsicle, and here's how. Grab some lube and an orange popsicle. Now, you know what? You might not like orange. You might like cherry. You might not like cherry. You might like lime. Who cares? The flavor doesn't really matter because it's going right in your ass. I told that story on here once. I had an anal fissure and I had to get suppositories, and I went to the pharmacy and they have like a thing. They're like, we can flavor your medicine so it's not so bitter. And so I said to the guy, I gave him my suppository thing, and he looks at me and I go, and I'd like those in root beer. And he looked at it and he just looked up and he was like, ha ha ha, like he just like involuntarily laughed. And he goes, can I steal that? I said, of course you can. That's fine. So if you go to the fucking Walgreens on Magnolia Boulevard ever to get some suppositories and that guy drops the root beer line on you, just go, ha ha, Mike Schmidt. Oh, use this. Show the committee this. Look at the fun we're having with root beer and ass. So, I had something. God damn it. Where was I going? I said something about a popsicle. And then I went, how did I get to there? Oh, the ice cream dude. Oh, yeah, Linda. She came through. And so she wrote me today. And Linda, and again, it's awkward talking to a lady about this stuff. It was awkward talking to you guys. I wasn't joking when I said I was sweating telling the story. And I will say this, too. I'm very angry at myself because I could have made that story so much funnier. Like, it could have been so much funnier, but I was so uncomfortable relating it to you that it just did not feel right at all. I mean, it was... nobody wants to tell you that. Plus, also, it was going on at the time, so I was trying to deal with it and whatever. But then after the fact, of course, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, fuck, you could have spun that in a funny way. It could have been funnier instead of you being embarrassed and horrified by it. Because it happens to everybody, right? Doesn't it happen to everybody? No, it doesn't. Of course, it doesn't. But you know why? Because you're all putting popsicles in your ass. You're cooling it off. You know what to do. And if you weren't before, you are now. You got a popsicle? You looking in the freezer? What do you got there? Yeah, it works. All right, so folks. So Linda writes me, and she's got like some crazy medical explanation of, and she's like, but hers involved I had to get a prescription for something, and I'm like, Linda, maybe you're not listening to the show. I'm broke, man. I literally popsicles in the ass is about the level of my medical. That's my prescription. My prescription is from Dr. Bombpop, so I don't know if that's gonna help me. And by the way. No, it's not from Dr. Bombpop. That would be, oh my God, how uncomfortable would that be? Jesus Christ. That's a big, that's a tall order. I can't get a Bombpop in my ass. Gee, I mean, I could. It's going to take forever, a whole afternoon. And I don't have that kind of time, folks. I'm trying to impress people on the other side of the globe. Dr. Bombpop. That's probably a guy. That's like a great name. God damn it. God, I wish I was going to have a kid now. I'd name him Bombpop. What a great name for a kid. Bombpop Schmidt. Holy shit. I might even, you know what? Fuck Schmidt. He just gets one name. Bombpop. That's a great name. Like Sting, Cher, Bombpop. This is my son, Bombpop. What a great fucking name. God damn it. Here's his sister, Chipwich. Yes. This is what fat people do. We name people after our favorite items of food, which is a lie. I don't like a Chipwich. I mean, I like it. I'm fat. I'm bound by law to like it, but it's not like I buy them. I don't go out of my way to buy a Choco Taco, even though I've heard that they're amazing. I heard of it. Like, yeah, the scuttlebutt on the street among the fatties is the Choco. It's called Choco Taco. Of course it's good, unless it's spelled CHALKO, and it's a taco filled with chalk. Then that would be horrifying. But if it's choco like chocolate, then yes, a taco filled with chocolate. Jesus Christ, that's like literally a fat guy woke up sweating one night and went, oh my God, what if we filled a taco with chocolate? Done. I wake up going, what if I shoved a Bombpop in my ass? Done. Bombpop's too thick. Got to go a different route. All right, so. Or a push-up. You can do a push-up in your ass. That's too soft. It's probably too soft. You know what? You'd have to actually put the cardboard. Oh, that would be painful. You'd have to put the cardboard in there. You know what? It wouldn't even be. Yeah, and then you'd push up into. Oh my God, that sounds awful. All right, never mind. Don't do a push up in your ass. Folks, look, if you've learned anything at all from me in 4 years and 9 episodes of this show, don't put a push up in your ass. So I was telling something. Wasn't there something else? She told me to get a prescription. Then she's like, she told me to take some pills. There's some weird pills I got to take. And she used the word mushy at one point, which I was not a fan of. And a guy, Mark, I'll say his name. Mark wrote me on Twitter, and he's like, you have a thrombotic hemorrhoid. Here's what you need to do. And he like detailed it in 140 characters. This guy cured me. And I wrote him and I go, thanks. I'm sorry that you even had to tell me this. Let's never speak of it again. In public, just this awful, like, you have a thrombotic hemorrhoid and here's what you do. He told me what, he's like, don't stop working out and do this. But he nailed it in 140 characters. Fuck Dr. Bombpop. Dr. Mark should be doing the job. Dr. Mark, he's like the Twitter doctor. He like fucking nails it in 140 characters and you're cured. Done. I love you, Dr. Mark. That seems strong. Yeah, I don't want to tell him I love. We talked about my ass last week and now I'm telling him I love him. Jesus Christ. Mark and I are getting closer than I wanted to be. Mark, you like push-ups? All right. So Linda reached out, and she was a pro at least, so she gave me that. But then other people had all sorts of hipster, like medic, like there's some stuff at Whole Foods I'm supposed to mix up with corn oil, and I'm like, oh my God, what? And part of it sounded like a joke, like Kirk's. Kirk sounded like a joke. Pour salt in your ass was basically what it boiled down to. Granted, they're Epsom salt, so I guess that's different than regular salt. It's not like he said, hey, dude, put sea salt caramels in your ass. Hold on a second, folks. Sea salt caramels in your ass. Wait a minute. We may have hit upon something. No, because they're jagged. I don't want anything jagged in my ass. All right. Well, bomb pops are kind of jagged too. Never mind. Well, I already said I don't want a bomb pop in my ass. Let's take a step back from our ass for a second. From our community ass. That's right. It's the royal ass. I talk about our ass as if it's the royal ass, folks. Together. You know, it's the 1,000 people who I want as my fans. All of us share the same ass. All of us. We use the royal ass for the 1,001 fans of this show. Yes, I include myself. I'm the one. Because I'm a huge fan of this show, folks, even though I never, ever listen to it. Ever. I should really listen to it. You know what? I think I understand that I have to go ahead and listen about 4 years worth to find some stories that make me worthy of a committee that I've never even met. It makes me. Did they hear of me through some weird scuttlebutt? We think you've been you had these things that could relate. I don't know. I don't get it. All right. I was talking about something. I know I was. Not ointment. No, let's get away from our ass. Let's move away. Let's step away from the ass, folks. Just for the moment. I'll come back. I mean, I'll come back to the ass if that's what you guys really want me to do. That's fine. But right now, I'm going to step away from the ass. What was I was just mentioning? I saw something on TV. What the fuck was I talking about? I thought I was telling. I was plugging. I've covered 9 different things. Oh, let me do the plug thing real fast. Yeah, and now we're back to my ass. Two things. One, June 18th, which I think is a Monday. I'm going to be at Meltdown Comics in Hollywood, I think it is, for the book release party for the Comedy Film Nerds book that I wrote part of. There's like 10 of us who wrote 2 chapters each. You know, it's Graham Elwood, Chris Mancini, Laura House, Jackie Cation, Dean Hagland, Alan Havey, me, Neil, the regular film guy. I don't know if Neil's using his last name. I don't want to give it away if he's not. Neil Weekly. Who cares? I'll say it anyway. There you go. I just gave up Neil. And so that's June 18th at Meltdown Comics. Tickets are available now. I will put up a link on my Facebook page, and you can come out and we will sign the book. I don't know if we're doing stand-up. I don't know if we're reading from the book. I don't know what's happening. All I know is that there's a book release party, and books will be on sale, and the 2 chapters that I wrote will be on display, and I get to see exactly what kind of a machete they took to the 2 of them. Because when I wrote them, I was told that I had a chapter, I think I had a word limit of 3,000 words, I think, and my first draft of the comic book one was 4,700 words. And then, and it's so funny. And there's things I didn't even touch upon. It's so funny. The people who love comic books are going to read my comic book chapter and be like, what about this? What about this? What about this? I'm going to go, dude, I only write what I know. I mean, and what I had room for, because I get into a Superman loop and I wrote about him for like 9 paragraphs and I couldn't stop. And then Batman and Spider-Man. And I dealt with the bigger ones rather than smaller ones, but you'll see, and I talked about it. And also there's the sports chapter that I wrote, and then everybody wrote chapters. So it's June 18th at Meltdown Comics, so I've just been informed that that's happening. And in the same vein with those guys, tickets are on sale now for the Los Angeles Podcast Festival, which is in October. And again, I don't know what's happening there. They have not given me a schedule. They have not told me any time. I know that there's a big stand-up show at the end, and I think I'm involved in that. And I know I'm taping a live show. I've talked to Lily about it, and she's game, so she's going to come out and record. And I don't know if we'll put it out as a bonus episode. I don't know if we'll sell it. I have no idea, because all I know is I have plans for it, and to see what it's going to be. It's going to be interesting for me to do a live show, and talk in front of people, especially in Los Angeles. I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. So, although I met people in Boston who told me they were coming. So, yeah, they've already bought tickets, and they're flying out, because you can buy on Kickstarter. You got hotel rooms and things like that. So they have right now discounted hotel rooms. Those all sorts of stuff. I think it's lapodcastfest.com. But again, I will, if you Google LA Podcast Festival, you'll find the link, because there's a website up and running now where you can buy tickets and discounted stuff. And I don't know what time slot I'm in, because when I talked to Chris and Graham, I think I mentioned this on here, they were saying, you'll get an hour to do whatever you want. I said, do I have to do a show? Do I have to record it? Is it live? Is it stand-up? He goes, you can do whatever you want in the amount of time. I said, an hour. And they're like, well, maybe 90 minutes. It depends. And I said, all right, well, where will it be in the building? And because they have, they have one room that seats, I think, like 700 people or something. It's just this huge cavern. And I told them, I go, I will never fill that. I go, it's ridiculous. And plus, whatever I do will get lost, swallowed up in a big room like that. So they said that they would have conference rooms too. So there might be small conference rooms that seat like 50 to 75 to 100. And I said, well, I would love to do that. So then when I get 15 people there, it's not as fucking completely horrible to have 15 in a room of 50 instead of 15 in a room of 700. And they said they would see what they could do. So, and again, it's, I am completely low man on the totem pole. I mean, it is, Graham and Chris for Comedy Film Nerds. It is Jackie Cation for The Dork Forest. It is Never Not Funny, Jimmy Pardo and Matt Belknap. It is Mark Maron, with What the Fuck. It is Adam Carolla, and I'm sure Allison Rosen is there as well. It is Greg Behrendt and Dave Anthony with Walking the Room, and many other shows that I think Kevin Smith and Smodcast are going to be there. It's crazy. I mean, it is just all of these people in one spot doing live shows and then doing a huge show at the end of it, like a big fucking stand-up deal, which should be interesting because I have not done stand-up in 2 years, any real stand-up. I've gone up and talked and had people stare at me. Well, I mean, the one mans are successful, but whenever I try to go up for people who don't know who the fuck I am, and I go up and I start talking, it's a whiff, and that's on me because I haven't fucking made myself work and be a comic again. So hopefully I'll have that squared away by October, or just come in and watch me fucking chew it between Mark Maron and Dave Anthony. That'll be great. So tickets are available for that at, I think it's lapodfest.com, or as my friend Lily likes to call it, lapodfest.com. Because we all have to wear berets when we do this fucking show. It's going to be exciting. Oh. So yes, that's going to be fine. So yeah, so go get tickets and come out, because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I sort of know what I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing, but I'm not sure. But I don't want to share it with you now. I want to surprise you, folks. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to show up. That's what I'm going to do. That's my huge plan for this show. That's the big surprise I have planned. I won't be there. So come on out and go see Mark Maron fill in for me. Yeah, he's filling in for me. Sure he is. The literally the largest, the biggest name in podcasting in the world today is Mark Maron. So there's no way he's filling in for me. If anything, I will be on stage and he will poke his head in and go, "Hey, we need this room," and they'll come in and go, "Get out, Mike," and then all of you will sit there and watch him say, "Lock the gates" 100 times. All right, and then you'll buy coffee just because you have to. Because his voice is so perfect for selling coffee. God damn, he sells everything. I'm worried about my plugs. My plugs are just, you might buy a book that I sort of was in. He's like, "Hey, I invented food. Go buy it." And why not? People are just clamoring to sponsor him as he interviews everyone. And he reaches out on Twitter to people all the time, to guests, like chefs. Like he's always like, "Hey, who wants to do the show?" And he keeps trying to reach out to Albert Brooks to get Albert Brooks to do the show. And you know what makes me laugh is part of me wants to, I have no interest in doing guests. I mean, it just would make no sense, because what are they going to do? Sit here and stare at me while I talk about shoving things in my ass? Good for them. But I've always wanted it. I've always held this fantasy where every year at the last episode, I would get some retardedly famous guest, and you would just be like, "How the fuck did that happen?" And Albert Brooks was always like a guy who I was like, "I wonder if I could ever ask him." I actually, this is totally true. I tried to get Rick Springfield for the end of year 4. Like I tried. I sent him stuff through Twitter, and I tried to contact him, and it never happened, of course. But I just wanted to see your faces, or at least hear, what the fuck? Are you serious? And I wish I hadn't said this now, because someday I'll do it. Someday I will actually have that happen, and then you'll be like, "What the fuck?" But now you see it coming. Now you know it's going to happen, and you're not going to be impressed. Sure enough, one day I'll be sitting here and I'll be talking to fucking Kip Winger, and you're going to be like, "God damn it, how did he get Kip Winger on there?" Because that's going to be very impressive, folks. Oh, man. Took the wind out of my sails there with the Kip Winger reference. Like I'm sitting here talking about getting famous people, and then I said Kip Winger, and I'm like, that's, you know what? Because you know what the problem with that is? I could probably get Kip Winger. I need somebody unattainable. Kip Winger's playing fucking bass at Borders. Is Borders still around? He's at Barnes and Noble. Maybe that's how bad it is. Actually, he is. He's playing bass at Borders Books. Kip Winger did that. He was in some thing where he came in and he played acoustic guitar and he talked at a Borders Books. And Pat and I were going to go, I think, if I remember correctly. And then we wound up waking up and realizing that wasn't the move. We were like, "No, don't do that." And I'm not shitting on Kip Winger. If people are going to fucking pay to come and check him out, because I get tired of that. I'm so tired of it. Whenever they have a concert and people make fun of it and they laugh about these guys, like, dude, the guy still makes a living playing music. I mean, he's not lifting fucking furniture. That's fucking amazing. It's like, Cheap Trick tours all the time. He's like, "Oh, fucking Cheap Trick plays all these rib festivals." Yeah, you know why? Because they're fucking Cheap Trick. And people, think of it. Cheap Trick goes out and plays music and say, "Oh, well," people are like, "Look at this small crowd. There's only like, 500 people here." All right, well, say those 500 people all paid, $20. So that's 10 grand that they made that afternoon. And then they divided it among themselves. And what did they spend it on? Fucking funky guitars and guitar picks. That's all Rick Nielsen spends his money on. And stupid sweaters. I don't know if he does that anymore. He might not. And Robin Sanders spending it on cigarettes so he can look cool on stage. Oh my God, that was the coolest moment of all time. I'm drinking water. And it's funny, I will tell you this, because I talked about that Cheap Trick concert in the most amazing moment. And these people who want me to come across the country and speak, It's a Cheap Trick convention. Why wouldn't they have that fucking story on deck? Of course they should, right? You heard me talk about them. I went on and on about them, and that's the story that you love. How many more stories about Cheap Trick am I supposed to fucking have? Folks, they want me to come to Budokan. I can't lie to you. They want Mike Schmidt to come to Budokan. They said, come on to Budokan. I was so happy. And I said, and why not? Because I want them to want me. Don't I want them to want me? Am I going to do this the whole fucking time? I probably am. Why not? I'm going to do it until I say goodnight now, ladies and gentlemen. That's for sure. Because they called me. They said, we want you to come to Budokan. I said, I want you to want me. And they said, hello there, Mike. Come on out to Budokan. And I had big eyes when they said that. All right, so, folks. And I know right now you're thinking to yourself, is he going to do the entire album? I can't, folks. There's no way I can do the entire Budokan album. I can do a few. Go ahead. I just did a few of them for you and take that, run with it. Because even though these people want me for their Cheap Trick Symposium, I can't lower myself to do every single song off the Budokan album. I can't surrender to that impulse. I couldn't possibly. And I know you're sitting at your house right now and you're thinking, man, ain't that a shame? This is The 40-Year-Old Boy, and coming up later, Deep in the Pocket, a history of scissoring with Leanna Dixon. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Dude.
What?
Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Dude.
What?
Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. Mitchell Angel. It's funny because I picked that spot and I'm like, we got to use that spot, and now it's in my head, so that's all I want to do is sing that constantly. When Max and I did that, we couldn't stop. Like for days, at his house, we kept saying it. We kept bringing it up at dinner. His children not happy. No, they were thrilled. Come on, they love us. They're the only ones. That's it. I know you guys because we do stupid shit, and then we think it's funny, and then we'll drop it on my godson or somebody, and he thinks it's funny too, and I'm like, yay! See, he gets it. He's 9 or 8, whatever the fuck he is. All I know is, but that's my target audience. I'm trying to be funny for 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds. If I could get 1,000 8-year-olds who liked what I did and are willing to spend money on everything that I do, that would be fantastic. I would just have sticky change and crumpled up dollar bills, and their lunch money would just be sent to me in fucking Hello Kitty envelopes. Good, I'm in. Done. That's all I want. I want 1,000 8-year-olds. Hear that, committee? Take that, committee. You want me to talk to your 8-year-olds? I got 1,000 of them who love me all over this great land of ours. Isn't that enough? Do I really have to go ahead and pan stories and make you listen to what I can do? Right now, you realize that 1,000 8-year-olds love me in this country. Why wouldn't you bring me to talk to your 8-year-olds? Although I don't think I can fit into the scouting uniform you guys wanted me to wear. I do not ask what my badges are in. I just have one badge with a popsicle on it on my sleeve. Everybody's like, "What's that badge for?" You don't want to know. I have a badge with a Bombpop. I have a Bombpop badge. That's my son, Bombpop. God damn it! I want to have a kid now just to name him Bombpop. Who out there? Who among you young ladies would like to donate your services? I'll just mail you a fucking envelope full. And then, well, I should probably take care to put it in something besides an envelope. An envelope's probably not going to preserve it. I'm going to need some sort of jug. I'll mail you a jug, and on the side it'll have those 3 X's, like a moonshine jug full of jizz. All right, so that's right. Look, if you're going to have a baby, you got to send as much jizz as possible because they got to keep trying. If it doesn't take, you just keep it in the freezer and then you scoop it out with a melon baller and you jam it up inside you. All right, folks. That's, you know what, maybe the Melon Baller Society has me come and talk to them. I've just advocated a whole new use of your product. You get a jug of frozen sperm, then you keep scooping out balls with a melon baller and jamming them inside ladies to make cross-country babies. By the way, I love the fact that I've invented the Melon Baller Society. I don't know if they exist. I don't know if they don't. I mean, from this moment on, certainly they should. Let's be honest. If you out there, if anybody in my group of 1,008-year-olds like Melon Ballers, form the Melon Baller Society. And I just want to invent a handshake. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask, folks? If I could just get some secret society to follow me around and we could develop our own handshake, that's all I want from you people. Buy my products and have a secret handshake that when you meet me, you can all give it to one another. It's like a fight club, but not like we won't fight. We'll just have a cool handshake. Not a cool handshake. There's no such thing as a cool handshake. I used to have a handshake when I was a kid with my brothers that I could probably, I'll bet if I saw Lenny today, he could still do the handshake with me. It's just like, it started out like upper arm, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could still do it now to you. I could teach it to you. What? Actually, I have to come clean. It's the Handshake Society that wants me to go cross country. I'm all over this. Look, my summer schedule is booked. I've got to talk to the Melon Baller Society. I got to talk to the Cheap Trick Society. I got to talk to the Cool Handshake Society. God damn it, I'm busy. And then I got to find the 1,000 Friends of Mike. I got to go ahead and deal with them. I got 1,008-year-olds who want me to go ahead and send them stuff. God damn, look at me. It's June. I'm fucking, and first of all, June is the month of Mike. We all know that. And it started just this past week in Boston, which I'll get to in a second. So the month of Mike is ahead of us. It's underway, folks. But now the Summer of Schmidt I've just talked about, where I've got to go talk to all these societies. The Summer of Schmidt societies, where I've got to go and talk to all these societies and give them pep talks and prove to them that I'm worth coming to talk to their societies. God damn it. Why do people need proof? I just covered Cheap Trick, a Melon Baller, and Scouting, and a Bombpop. I'm done. I'm in. I'm golden. Play this for your fucking committee. Probably shouldn't call them the fucking... Actually, you know what? I am speaking to the fucking committee, too. I don't know. I have no new techniques to bring to the table. I guess it's just you reminisce about all the times you've done that. Any fucking you've done, they want to hear about it. And then you go ahead and step to the side and talk to the Melon Ballers. All right. It's just a huge... We're having the Summer of Schmidt under one big tent. And there will be just booze. There's the Melon Baller Society tent. There's the Cheap Trick Society tent. Folks, I can't take it. All right. So, the month of Mike, which is June, is underway, folks. It got underway in Boston, Massachusetts last week. Those of you who are in Boston, you know all this. So please do me a favor, turn off your radio and go to sleep. You can right now, I don't care where you are, in a car, on a bus, in a plane, on a train, with Sam I Am eating great eggs and ham. I don't know where you are, folks. However, you can turn off your radios because you've lived this. All of the rest of this show you've lived, or you've heard that I lived it. Perhaps I'll go, you know what, maybe I'll show up at the Boston Society and talk about when I went to Boston. There's a lot of societies out there in need of speakers. It's the Summer of Schmidt. Booth space is available, by the way. If you go to the donation link on the MikeSchmidtComedy.com and secure yourself a booth for the Summer of Schmidt Expo. Maybe you host the Schmidt Society. Maybe the Schmidt Society would like to go and take part in the Summer of Schmidt. A lot of S's here. Folks, I was in Boston last week. I was there for 3 days. This was the last of the Kickstarter cities. And I know what you're thinking. That means that I've gone ahead and filled all of the Kickstarter orders. No, not yet. Our friend Amity, I have to get her a frame because her frame broke in transit. So I've got to get her a new frame, which will be going out this week. And then there are a bunch of people who get CDs and Boston t-shirts. And then I still owe phone calls to a bunch of people. So I will call you. Don't worry. I may have missed your birthday. I may have missed your anniversary. But perhaps I'll just call everybody on Christmas. Who knows? But just know that somewhere, at some point, your phone's going to ring, and it's going to say blocked number, and it's going to be me. And you're going to answer it for the most awkward 7 minutes of your life. 7 minutes in heaven, I call it. Most awkward 7 minutes of your life, you call it. But that's fine. You call it whatever you'd like. I call it 7 minutes in heaven. I call it 7 minutes with the Schmidt Society. That's what I call it. Because I am the Schmidt Society. Fuck you. You can't form the Schmidt Society. I'm a one-man society. And there's a song by Eddie Vedder called Society that I was just going to sing that would not be relevant to anybody because you would not know the words. But I could sing it and pretend that I made it up, and you'd be like, holy shit, the Schmidt Society just cut his own single. All right, here's me rubbing my hands together. Can't wait to tell you some stories, folks. That's a lie. I was in Boston last week, Boston, Massachusetts, for the Summer of Schmidt, the debut, June 1st. This was the final Kickstarter city. As I've mentioned, Boston shirts are going to be sent out this week. I said it seconds ago, but I need to reiterate it for you folks. Hold on, Lily's maneuvering in her chair. You're throwing me off. What are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm shifting my weight.
She's a weight shifter. All right, so she's in the weight shifting society. There's one member of the weight shifting society. It stars my friend Lily Bunched Up. I don't know if starring in your own society makes sense. That's a movie. If there was a movie called a weight shifting movie, she would star in it. But a weight shifting society, she's the president. All right. I'm fucking dumb. It's so funny because I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go home, but I got to tell stories. I got to tell you about what happened in Boston. You folks don't want me to leave and without telling you what happened in Boston, right? I don't want to wrap this show up without covering Boston. I have to cover Beantown. By the way, don't call it Beantown. They're not fans of that. How come every city hates their nickname? Like Frisco. Don't call it Frisco. Well, it's San Francisco, but some people call it Frisco. Don't call it Frisco, stupid. That seems harsh, but okay, I won't call it Frisco. And then Boston doesn't like to be Beantown. But I guess, I'm from Chicago, and if people were like, oh, you're from the Windy City, I'd laugh in their face because they were leprechauns. Who the fuck talks like that? Hey, for sure you're from the Windy City. A-her. Because Windy City just sounds dumb. That's like there's my buddy Mike Toomey used to tell a great story about guys who don't know sports who try to talk sports with you. Like you'd be sitting around and he had a great story about the like talking about the Bears, and a guy looked at him, and I can't do it. You won't see. Well, I'll do it. You can't see it, but it's like a guy put his fist in the air and he went, "Monsters of the Midway." Because he was trying to fit into the conversation, not knowing that nobody calls them the Monsters of the Midway. It was just like a nickname that came up with them in the 50s. And then it's kind of tagged on them via NFL films. But nobody's like, dude, did you watch the Monsters of the Midway this weekend? Nobody calls them that. But the guy trying to fit in was like, Monsters of the Midway. Like he was so a huge football fan, pumping his fist. No, we obviously know that you like cock. So don't even try. And he was talking about the Bulls too, like when the Bulls, when they were huge and they were winning titles and they had the greatest team in basketball. And they're talking the Bulls one time, and a guy went up and he goes, "Hey, was Jordan key in that game?" Like, because that's all he had was Michael Jordan was the only guy he knew. So he had to ask if Jordan was key in the game. Really? That's your question? Guy who obviously sucks cock? You don't know that Michael Jordan, who is the greatest player in the history of basketball, in the history of round balls even, soccer, any sport at all that uses baseball, anything that uses a round ball, Michael Jordan is the greatest in the history of round balls. And you had to come up and go, was Jordan key in that game? Yes, you're fitting into the conversation. Now go get your Shirley Temple and sit down and take a cock right into your mouth like you want to. We know you want to. I wish you had a cock in your mouth now. I wouldn't even mind watching you blow a guy if it meant I didn't have to hear you say that. Because that guy's in the I wish I was blowing a guy society in chapter Chicago, and he had to talk about Jordan and Monsters of the Midway just to get trust me, you're in the I wish I was blowing a guy society. Those meetings have got to be lonely because there's only one dude. You know what? Because you can't have more than one dude in the I wish I was blowing a guy society, because then it would immediately become the I'm blowing a guy society. I couldn't even get it out. You can't have more than one person in the I wish I was blowing a guy society, because if you do, it automatically becomes the hey, I'm blowing a guy society. By its very nature, the I wish I was blowing a guy society is a singular pursuit. It is population 1. Because the second you double the population, guess what? It invalidates the club's charter. Oh, God damn it, that made me laugh. All right, so, folks, I went to Boston. Have I mentioned that? I was in Boston, Massachusetts last week. I had to fly out of Los Angeles, California, nonstop. That's how I like to do it. I can tell you that my next 2 flights are not nonstop, but I'll tell you about those when they arrive. Folks, I've been trying to maneuver and save money. I'm telling you about them now. I go into it anyway. Because I'm in the giving you too much information society. I have to tell you that when I'm flying to Indianapolis and I'm flying to Kansas City. Toronto's nonstop. Fuck it. I just flew nonstop to Toronto because I couldn't see, getting dropped off in Flin Flon. But the other cities, like I have to fly out of Long Beach for fucking Kansas City, and then I have to fly out of Orange County for Indianapolis. Those shows are coming up. Buy tickets to those. Hey, Kansas City, are you there? Is there even anybody? Is anybody in Kansas City? Because I can tell you, you are not buying tickets to my show. That's going to be a lonely endeavor. That's going to be the man. I wish there was a crowd here society in Kansas City, and I will call the meeting to order. So I flew to Boston, and this was the final Kickstarter city. God damn it! Stop saying that. I'm in a loop. I flew out last Wednesday. That's why we had to record Tuesday. So I went to work at my at the overnight gig, left early, went home, packed, grabbed a shower, went to LAX. And look, you know the drill. You go to the airport with me every time I take this trip. I show up at LAX, it's dead because it's like 7 in the morning. Well, I got there at 5 in the morning. No, that's bullshit. I wanted to get there at 5 in the morning, but we were a little late, and then I had to check in with the dude outside. Because this is weird. American Airlines won't let me pay for my bag online. I don't know why that's the case, but I don't get to pay because it's $25 to bring a bag. So I tried to pay for it, but they don't do it there anymore. And I mentioned it to Karen, and she's like, you know why? Because so many people pay the $25, and then they bring a giant overstuffed bag, and then they try to charge them more, and the people are pissed. They're like, no, I paid $25 because they just want to avoid the hassle. They'll weigh it at the fucking airport, and it makes sense because people suck. Almost as much as the airlines. Not as much, but almost. You know, the airlines really suck, but people do suck as well because they're all trying to get over. I mean, dude, fucking everybody with a roller bag. I don't get, well, I'll get to that in a fucking second. I just don't get it, but that's fine. So I get to the airport, I get out, I check my bag, I pay the $25, and I go through security. And look, we all know of my adventures with security at the airport. I was at LAX, and I went through a phase where I've been traveling where they've now, every airport has now decided that I have to take my belt off. All right. And I've talked about this to you guys. I've let my pants fall to the floor. Like in Atlanta, I let my pants fall all the way down. I just don't care because I'm an old man. And it's like, look, I don't want to take my belt off. It's an inconvenience. It's ridiculous. You can see that it's just a leather belt with a buckle. There's no point that I have to just look at it. Okay? It's not fucking made out of bomb material. I don't have a hoodie on. I didn't go to Harvard. I don't live in the woods. What the fuck? I'm just getting on a fucking plane to go to Boston and do a show for the We Like Mike Society. But instead I go through security, and sure enough, everybody's making me take my belts off. So when I do that, I usually just let my pants drop. But it's gotten to the point now where it's happened like 5 or 6 times where I'm bored with it. Like I don't want my pants to fall down anymore. It's like because I don't want to invite the discussion. I don't want to turn it into that. They've beaten me down, and granted, it only took 5 or 6 fucking times, but they beat me down, folks. I'm tired of showing my balls to the world. I just want to get through effortlessly and without hassle. So I show up, they take off your belt, whatever the fuck. I take my belt off, I put it on, and I kind of position myself in a way to hold my pants up. I don't want to, because my pants are loose. So because I wear, whatever the fuck, I lost some weight, so my pants are loose. So I have to hold them up like a hobo or buy a fucking rope belt or something. And I don't want to do that. So I try to position my hips to where they stay up. But then when you're standing there, they're hanging off, and I look like a fucking, rapper, for fuck's sake. And they look at me and they're like, sir, it's time for you to go. And then when I got to go through, I got to put my hands. So then when I put my hands over my head, the pants fall even further. And it wasn't that busy at LAX. It was sort of busy, but not that busy. Cause again, it's like fucking 5:30 in the morning. So I get through, and I'm all disheveled, and I don't like being disheveled. When I get to the line, I'm disheveled. And what I usually like to do is then I grab all my stuff and I walk over to where there's a bench, and then I get shoveled at the bench. I want to get shoveled on my own all at once. Because you've disheveled me all at once. I need to get shoveled all at once. I don't like to go piecemeal. I don't like to put a belt on and then walk over and put a shoe on and then a hoodie. I need to bring all of my stuff in a pile and get shoveled on my own. That's how I want to work it. All right. So I'm standing there as I come through, and I'm waiting for my things to come out. They're riding through the little house, the little x-ray house. So I'm standing there, and my pants are down about mid-thigh now. So balls are not, well, they're almost on display. Well, no, mid-thigh. Yeah, I guess they are. My balls are out. It's just, you can't really see them because my shirt's down. So I'm standing there and pants halfway down. I'm waiting to get shoveled. And the woman who's manning the little house she's watching my bags on TV. I think it's my bags. I don't know. My bags haven't come out. And what they keep doing, which I don't understand, they keep running the belt forward and then backward. Forward and then backward. They're not looking they don't take the things out of the house and look at them. They leave them inside the little the secret house, and they're watching them on television, and I can see them. They're looking. And I knew this was going to happen. I even said it to Karen before I got on the plane. I go, I guarantee there's going to be a problem here, because in my bag, I had Kickstarter artwork. Frames that I had to bring with me on the plane. I didn't want to check them because I didn't want them to fucking smash them, because then A, the artwork is all smashed, and then B, I have to wear clothes with shards of glass in them, which I found I don't like. Oh, I tried. Remember back in 1997 when everybody's wearing the shirts with the glass shards inside of them? I found it to be confining, and actually I didn't enjoy bleeding all day long as I cut myself with shards of glass embedded in my shirt. So I immediately resigned from the Shards of Glass Shirt Society. They're watching my stuff on TV. They're rolling it back and forth. And I've got 4 frames in there, because the actual caricature and then the print for both guys, Ed and our friend Drew, who was the Kickstarter winner for Boston. Winner, whatever. Fuck. He's not a winner. Well, he's a winner on his own. He didn't win anything from me, is my point. Well, he did. He got to have dinner with me. I'll tell you about that in a second. But who knows if that's a big deal. There's so many members of the I Had Dinner with Mike Society. So I had frames, and so instead of taking the bag out, they're rolling it back and forth. They're watching it on TV, and then she's sitting in her on her stool and does not move. She doesn't get up, and then she's like, "Supervisor," and a guy walks over to her, and they continue to watch on TV. And at this point, it dawns on me that it's my stuff, definitely, that they're watching on TV. And then it also dawns on me that now my bags have had a longer and more successful career in television than I ever have. They have a much longer running show. Their appearance is being well received. It's certainly being seen by more people than mine was on the Game Show Network. So sure enough, they're watching the bag and they're making it go back and forth. They're driving it around, and I'm standing there. And while I'm looking, and I'm because I'm out of place. I don't have my shoes on. I'm not shoveled. All right, I'm disheveled still, and I refuse to shovel. There's a hoodie there, and like everything's just piled up. But except for my bags, which they have, my computer, my laptop, all that. And as I'm standing there, another dude walks up to me from TSA, and he goes, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Well, I'm waiting for my stuff to come out." He goes, "Well, did they pat you down yet?" I said, "Well, they didn't say they had to pat me down." He goes, "Well, I'll pat you down." I'm like, no, like an afterthought. Like he thought I was just hanging around to get my balls groped, I suppose. Like that's why I'm standing with my pants half off and my belt is gone and my shoes off. I'm waiting for someone to grab my nuts. I guess he was thinking that was the plan. He was in the I'm going to grab this guy's nuts society. And I was in the you don't need to grab my nuts society, so we had a little conflict there. But he's like, "Yeah, I'll pat you down." I go, "No, I'm not waiting for a pat down." He goes, "Well, I'll take care of it anyway." And he did. I got this is my first experience with the TSA pat down, where they actually, because I mean, I've had guys grab me before, but he was all up in me. I mean, he went off. He's like, up in my armpits, even though again, I'm wearing a fucking shirt, and then he had his hand on my crotch. He got grabby. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're married. So I kissed him, of course, and then we had a nice honeymoon in Boston. But as he's grabbing me, I'm looking, and they're still looking at my bags. And then finally, it seemed like it took forever, but it was just fucking 5 minutes. They rolled them out. They they come rolling out, and the guy goes, "This your bag?" I'm like, actually, it was funny. He's the second guy that morning who asked if that was my bag. The first guy was the pat down dude. "Hey, is this your bag?" "Well, it's attached, right? I guess it is." But this guy, he rolls them out and he's like, "Is this your bag?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I have to take a look in it." I said, "All right." It's like, "Why didn't you take a look in it before?" I go, "I guarantee it's picture frames." I go, "Is that what you're looking at, the big squares?" And he's like, "I don't know, sir. I'm going to take a look right now." And he puts his gloves on and he pulls everything out. And by the way, the guy who patted me down did not have gloves on. And I was like, because it was so fucking strange that he was doing it, because it happened so quick that I didn't even think about it. So then it dawned on me, does this guy even work here? After the fact, I thought maybe it was just some dude who wore like a security guard outfit to the airport, and he's just looking around to check people's bags periodically. So I don't know. I don't know if he's in the Security Imposter Society. I have no clue. All I know is I had to feel like his hands on my legs. It was creepy as fuck. All right, so. This guy starts going through my bag and he starts emptying it, and sure enough, he pulls out the picture frames, and I explained what they were, and then he all it was picture frames and pens, and there was a hard drive in my bag, and he stacks it out, and then he looks at me and he's like, "All right, well, You're fine, sir. And I go, great. And he goes, do you want to put everything back in your bag or do you want me to do it? I mean, I don't know the difference. You know, I said, I'll do it. It's fine. Because, again, I just want to get shoveled. I'm standing there. My pants are half off. I'm still shell-shocked from getting finger banged by this other dude. So I go, I'll take care of it. He's like, all right, sir, fine. And he walks away. So I bag up that bag, and I grab my shoes, and I grab my belt, and I realize my hoodie is still over on the belt. So I take my stuff, and I stack it to the side, and I walk over to get the belt, or to get the hoodie. And also my boarding pass was still in. So I grabbed those, and then there's another empty bin. You know, they have those bins that you put your stuff in. So I was going to just stack them for the guy. So I went to grab, and I look in this bin, and in one of the bins that I didn't use, it's just sitting there empty. In the corner of the bin, there's probably a half an inch of white powder.
Oh my God.
And then in another corner of the bin, there's another half inch of white powder. And, you know, those two words, I mean, whenever you hear those, there's a shutdown of an airport. I mean, it's just a fucking zoo. Everything goes to hell. So I freaked out. So I grabbed my hoodie and I grabbed my boarding pass. And then I looked at the guy and I go, hey, did you see this? And he goes, oh, you can just stack those over on the side. I go, no, there's like white powder in this bin. He goes, what do you mean white powder? I go, white powder, like it's in the corners of the bin. There's just, I don't know what it is. I'm telling you that I don't know. And he goes, what do you mean? And I go, and he wouldn't get up. He's sitting in a fucking stool. They're all sitting down. Nobody gets up. And I said, white powder, there's white powder in this bin that I don't know what it is. I didn't touch it. I didn't put it here. I just came to get my boarding pass and I looked in and there's white powder in here. And he goes, well, I don't know what you mean by white powder.
Oh my God.
And he won't get up. So here's what I did because I'm great. I picked up the bin and I said, white powder, like this. And I dumped it out on the floor. I held it over my head and I reached out and I dumped it over the belt and it cascaded out like a fucking snow globe. It just all fell out. And I go, that white powder, that's what I'm talking about. And he goes, oh. Well, I don't know. He goes, you know what? Just don't stack that one there then. Just put it underneath the belt. They didn't investigate. They didn't ask me where it came from or what it did. He wasn't worried about it at all. He's just like, yeah, just take that bin out of circulation and put it under the belt. Like maybe just the bin had been contaminated by the mysterious white powder. And I looked at the guy and in my head I'm just like, dude, have you been watching the news? There are zombie attacks all over this fucking country. Shouldn't you finally, for once, be concerned about the mysterious white powder? Because it always turns out to be something that nobody cares about, right? It's never anthrax. It's always like baby powder or some bullshit. But just for once, you know, it could be ricin. It could be fucking anything. I don't give a fuck if it's coffee made. Get off your fucking stool and do that Kojak trick and put your fucking pinky in it and tab it on your gums and try to figure out what it is. Because people are eating people's faces in this country and you're being paid to investigate. I had a guy who, as an afterthought, grabbed my balls 5 minutes ago. But I can't get you out of the stool to look at the mysterious white fucking powder. Are you joking? But I dumped it. Like I thought that would get his attention. I held it out at arm's length and I turned it over and dumped it all over the floor in the belt. And he didn't even flinch. He says like, oh, we'll just put that one under the belt then. Like, don't stack it with the other bins. And I just went, okay. And I grabbed my stuff and went and got shoveled. So they didn't say a fucking word. They didn't call. They called a supervisor over to look at the shapes in my bag. And that was the thing that drove me crazy. Is like, if you just take the bag out, you'll be able to see what it is. But on the TV, it's just shapes. And I don't even know why that's a crime. Are they thinking this guy's trying to get shapes into Boston? What the fuck? It's just squares in a goddamn bag. If you would take the bag out, you could see what those squares are. But instead, they got 4 people who converge on a television set because there's shapes in a bag. Like, I'm not Sesame Street, all right? There are shapes, but if you pulled them out, you would see that they were actual tangible objects. I'm not just bringing rectangles with me to the East Coast. But it took 4 people to stare at the fucking shapes in my bag, the shadowy shapes, but nobody cared about the fucking mysterious white powder that was in the goddamn bin. And how stupid am I to dump it all over the floor? What the fuck? Just because I was so pissed he wouldn't get up, I was like, here, and I dumped it. How did they not tackle me and fuck me up completely as I dump it? Because they got to think that I'm like, at that point, I'm the Joker. I'm the Joker at that point. I'm disguised in a fat suit as a fat guy with my balls hanging out, and guess what? Here's mysterious white powder. I just killed everybody in Los Angeles. I have just killed everybody in this airport. Walk through it, track it, get on planes, and you take the fucking disease. I'm in the killing everybody in the world society. Population 1. And I just dumped white powder all over the fucking place and you didn't care. Horrible. But they made sure I took my fucking belt off. They made sure to grab my balls. But nobody gives a shit about the white powder in the bin. I was stunned. I was fucking stunned. To the point where, and then part of me was like, I should get a supervisor, but nobody saw where the white powder came from. I'm the only person who saw its origin point. So you know they're going to question me and fuck me up. I got to get to Boston. Fuck that. Me and my shapes are getting on the plane. So I grabbed my shapes and I fucking hightailed it to my fucking, to where I'm supposed to go. Sorry, I'm drinking. So it's early in the morning and there's people. It's busy in the airport. I walk through and I wanted to get water because I have to bring water on the plane. I don't, they don't give you, because I'm going to go to sleep when I get on the plane. So if I can get my apple juice, great. But sometimes I sleep through the cart. So I just got to make sure I always have some water there to stay hydrated. So, when I walk into the terminal first, on the left-hand side, the American Airlines terminal is not good for food. United at least has like a Baja Fresh where you can get some Mexican food. And then I think it's Virgin or Delta, I don't know, it might be Virgin or Delta that has Gladstones, like, Gladstones for fish. So you can actually get some real food if you want. But American has a Burger King and a Starbucks. Those are the two name places. And then they got that shitty airport bakery, where it's just, they have some fucking florid name, but it should just be called Flour, Eggs, and Water, Fuck You. That's what it should be called. Because they make the shittiest baked goods in the world, and there's always like people who go there because they want coffee because they can't make the walk to Starbucks or they're not strong enough to walk past. I don't fucking know what their problem is. But I hate eating at those generic pieces of shit because, again, it's always just some pile of nonsense that they made overnight and they stored in a fucking bin with mysterious white powder. I can't do it. So I walk right once you get out, I get shoveled and I walk, and right there on my left, there's Flour, Eggs, and Water, Fuck You. And all I want is water. I will tell you this, all I need is a water, so I could go there. But unfortunately, like I said, nobody has the strength to maneuver down the terminal the minute they get in, because you get afflicted with that disease. I talked about it before, where it's like, I wouldn't eat at Burger King now, like ever. In the real world, I would not eat at Burger King in a million years. But in an airport, I would step on a baby's head for a croissant sandwich. I just fucking would. Because it's just that thing where it's all you have, and you're sitting there, and the only thing you can get. So you wind up, it becomes more than it is for you. So I see Flour, Eggs, and Water, Fuck You, and I want water, but the line is so long because of people who immediately get in the airport and go, I must have something to eat immediately. That I just say, fuck it, I can't do it. And look, this is my fault, okay? Because I then walk all the way to the end of the terminal. Now, as I walk, I pass a newsstand and the bookstore and a bunch of water kiosks, but they sell Dasani water and they sell Evian water, which I don't drink. I refuse to drink them because Dasani water is, it's just, that's the water they use for your Cokes. But they decided, hey, you know what? Let's just not add any Coke syrup in here and still sell this shit. And then they do, and people fucking pay for it. And Evian water is too soft. I can't drink it because it's just, Evian water tastes like a hand job. Like I want nothing to do with it, for fuck's sake. Because I've talked about that when you shower in soft water and you're washing yourself, and then it's like all of a sudden you're like in the shower with a mysterious lady, and then you're like, oh, this is pretty cool, and then you have to jerk off. You absolutely have to jerk off with soft water. Well, when you drink it, it just goes down. It's in your mouth. It tastes. It's like, I don't want texture with water, but I don't know how to explain it. When you drink Evian water, it just tastes. It tastes like soapy water without soap in it. I can't describe it any better than that. So I won't drink Evian. So I walk past the kiosks that sell Dasani. I walk past the kiosks that sell Evian because I need to get Arctic Ice. I need that bullshit generic water that they sell because already you're paying 1,000% markup on this fucking water. So I'd rather pay $2.99 a bottle than $3.99 a bottle. So I walk through and I get all the way to the end of the terminal, and that's where I get to Burger King and Starbucks because they have water. So I know I can buy the Arctic Ice there. But as I show up, it's like 5 to 6. Okay, as I'm approaching it, and there's a bunch of people milling around the hallway, but it's just right by the gate. So I just figured that there's people there anyway. But right as I hit Starbucks and Burger King, they raise the gates to let people in, and this death stampede starts where people I thought these people were just hanging around waiting for their flight. Bullshit. They're all waiting for Burger King and Starbucks to open. And when the gate goes up, it looks like they're stocking up for a fucking hurricane. I mean, they just come in waves at the fucking Burger King. All I want is water. All I want is just let me get one fucking water. I don't want to be behind some guy who's going to order 9 fucking lattes, soy, grande, fucking tall, pumpkin, bullshit, cocksucker drinks. I don't want that. I'm not in the 9 adjective coffee society, all right? I just want a piece of fucking water. A piece of water? I don't care. Just cut me off a slice of that water. I don't fucking care. Whatever you got. So I try to get in, and then the line is crazy, and then the line, as I made a mistake, because I was going to go to Starbucks first, and then the Burger King line filled up, because what I would have had to do is go to Starbucks, grab a water, and then walk over to the Burger King line, because Burger King doesn't sell the water, whatever the fuck. But then I found out they did. Who cares? No one cares. It didn't matter, because this mass of humanity, this huge fucking tsunami of people swooshed in to Burger King and Starbucks to the point where I went, I can't stand in these lines just for a fucking bottle of water. That's ridiculous. So I, of course, made myself double back to flour, eggs, and water, fuck you. I said, well, I'll just go back there, because now that these are open, obviously that will be like they'll have slowed down. So I go all the way back to the terminal. I walk past my gate again. I walk past the bookstores. I walk past 9 water kiosks with Evian and Dasani. Yes, I could have stopped there. I could have bought that water. I get it. I continue to walk. I get to flour, eggs, and water, fuck you, and it turns out the opening of Starbucks and Burger King has done nothing to alleviate the line at flour, eggs, and water, fuck you. In fact, it may have made it worse, because there's a line, it's a zigzag line inside flour, eggs, and water, fuck you, and then it comes out into the actual terminal, and it extends almost all the way to the other side of the hallway. And then they have to come out and chase us. They have to spin us around because we're blocking people. I mean, it's just horrible. So I get in line because I just want my water. And I stand in line, and you're creeping forward, and you observe the people around you, and in front of me, there's this is one of the reasons why the line is so fucking long. In front of me, there's a family of 6. It's mom, dad, grandma, and 3 kids. And the 3 kids are all, I would say they range in age from 7 to 11. Okay, there's a girl and 2 boys. And they're all in line. Dude, that's why you brought grandma on the trip, right? So she would watch the fucking kids while you did stuff? Make grandma take the kids to the other side, and then the 2 of you will be in line, and guess what? This line will be that much fucking shorter. It'll be 4 people shorter. Because there's no reason for these kids to be in fucking line. Why are you bringing kids into flour, eggs, and water, fuck you? Because you know they're going to get in there, and they're going to be like, buy me this, buy me that, buy me this, buy me that. I don't know why the fuck you would even get these kids. And even worse, here's what's even worse. It's mom, dad, grandma, and the 3 fucking kids. The kids are anywhere in age from 11 to 7. All 3 kids have roller bags. What the fuck are these kids doing with roller bags? What is in there, your childhood? Get rid of the fucking roller bag. Pack these kids. They're tiny. Their clothes are small. You can hang them from a fucking rearview mirror of a car. Put them in the grown-up suitcase. They don't need to bring their own fucking bags, because you know what? Now you're going to fuck up the plane for everybody. Because the 6 of you are going to get in with your 6 fucking roller bags and take 9 fucking overhead bins, and then you're going to give dirty looks to people when they try to wedge shit up in there. You fuckers. God damn it, I hate you, Minnesota. So they're in line, all 6 of them, and they got the fucking roller bags, and we're moving incrementally as people. Because here's the thing: in flour, eggs, and water, fuck you, they've got a bin with parfaits and fucking granola and yogurt and water and cold shit, and then they've got the huge display case where they get to give you bagels and they got to give you croissants and all that. But if you want coffee, you have to wait till you get to the registers. And that's all anybody wants is coffee. So then that's why the line is so slow, because the people at the very front of the line are fucking holding everything up by ordering 19 adjective coffees. And the people have to stop using the register because they have to go make that fucking coffee. It's terrible. Horrible. Horrible system. And this is where the fuck you comes in flour, eggs, and water, fuck you. So I'm waiting in line. The 6 people are there. And then we get into the actual restaurant. We've been outside the whole time. Now we get into the actual storefront of the bakery, and we're in the zig instead of the zag. And as we're moving up, there's only 5 waters. I can see them. There's only 5 waters in the case. And I'm like, if these people grab these fucking waters, I'm going to fucking just clothesline everybody. It's going to be awful. As we creep closer, they get inside, and the mom looks at the kids, and she goes, all right, kids, what do you want? Why are you asking children what they want? Why? I can answer that for you. You know, hey, kids, what do you want? You know what they want? Everything. That's what kids want. That's all they want. Kids want everything, one of each. That's what we want. Mom, get everything. Get everything for us. You don't ask kids what they want. Kids are like Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack. They walk into a fucking store, they're like, hey, I'll take 2 of these, 6 of these, some of these naked lady tees. Whatever the fuck they see, they want. They just want to get it and bag it up because you're paying. Guess what, Mom? You're paying, so they're going to get fucking anything you'll let them get. So you shouldn't let them get anything. You should just look, if you have children, march them into flour, eggs, and water, fuck you, and just look them in. First of all, they shouldn't even be in there, quite frankly. They should be out with grandma by the wall, and they should eat whatever you bring them. Because you shouldn't even give them the sugar rush of seeing that fucking pile of croissants behind the glass, because then they want it badly. So instead, you should just look at them and go, you know what you're getting? You're getting exactly what I want to get you for you. You're getting fucking white milk and a donut filled with lowered expectations. That's what you're getting. And you're going to take it and you're going to eat it and make a sour face, and I don't fucking care. Because I'm just trying to get you on the plane so you fucking sleep. Get out of the way of the adults. Go grow up somewhere else besides an airport. Roller bags. Fuck. God damn it. I don't have kids. I don't want kids. Except for future China baby. Oh, future China baby. I want future China baby. I'm in I want future China baby society. I'm the one person in it. God damn it, future China baby. Little Rick. Why would I name an Asian kid Rick?
Oh, man.
Just because. All right. And you know what? I'd name him Chinese Rick. That's what I'd name little China baby. That's a great name. Well, if I can't name him, I fuck that. Bombpop. Bombpop and Chinese Rick. How great is that? That's my two kids. Bombpop and Chinese Rick? That sounds like a show on Adult Swim. It's perfect. My kid's Bombpop and Chinese Rick. Because there was this guy, there's a guy named Leo Allen from Steve. Was it Leo Allen? Yeah, he's a comic. And he had a bit, and he was talking about his roommate, and his roommate was named Johnny Spanish. And I was like, I fucking love that name. I love it. I was like, how do you make up that name? And it turns out, I guess, that it's not really a made-up name. He really had a roommate named Johnny Spanish, which is, but no, fuck that. That's awesome. How great is that? So come on, Bombpop and China Rick. Was it Chinese Rick or China Rick? Chinese Rick and Bombpop. Oh my God, that's perfect. Get them little roller bags. I take it back, Minnesota. I love you guys. You did the right thing. So we get in. They ask the kids what they want. And of course, again, it turns into a free for all. Where they're like, they want chips. No, they want sandwiches. No, they want bagels. And inevitably, they get to the front, and the mom decides what they're going to have anyway. And also, I should tell you this too: at Flour, Eggs, and Water, fuck you. They had bagels. The toaster was out. They had a big sign that said "out of order" on the toaster, and everybody walked up and said, "Hey, can you toast that bagel for me?" And they would just point. Can't you read, motherfucker? Well, no, I didn't think you'd be open for 4 minutes with an out of control toaster. Out of control toaster? I think it's out of order. I don't want to know what an out of control toaster does. It just rampages through. You know, it sounds like a Stephen King novel. It's like fucking, you know, it's like you get a toaster with a huge green goblin head on it. Just can't stop toasting things like Maximum Overdrive. Holy shit. I don't want to see an out of control toaster in action unless it sucks up those 3 kids from Minnesota and toasts the fuck out of them. Go ahead and do that. You know who could put a stop to this out of control toaster? Bombpop and Chinese Rick. They show up and put a fucking kibosh on that out of control toaster. No, it's an out of order toaster. I didn't think in 4 minutes you'd have an out of order fucking toaster, but they did. So, and here's the thing this is how stupid I am. Again, I fall victim to the goddamn airport curse. We finally get through. I grab a water. Nobody grabbed all the water, so I grabbed one. It was cold, thank God. And I came around and the woman's like, "Do you want anything?" And I could have just said, "No, I'm just getting water." But because I'd been in line so long, I felt like I needed to get something. Like I owed it to me to just buy something else. So I got a chocolate croissant from their little case, which is stupid because, again, I forgot the name of the place is Flour, Eggs, and Water, fuck you. So sure enough, it was, and they get it, and inside it's freezing cold because they had just opened, so it had been overnight in a fucking refrigerator, and I knew it. I knew that was going to be the case, and yet I still ordered it, and I was furious at myself, but who cares, as long as I was getting away from fucking Minnesota. And then I get to the front, and he's ordering coffee for him and grandma and the mom, and that slows everything the fuck down. It was brutal. Plus, you know what, I was going to get a banana, but the bananas were like $1.79. It's like, fuck you, airport prices. Next time I'll just smuggle a banana in my ass. All right, so why would I have to do that? I could put it in my bag. They don't care if you bring a banana in. It's drinks that they don't want you to bring in. God, I've brought bananas into the airport before. Why did I go right to putting a banana in my ass? I don't want no banana in the tailpipe. All right, so sure enough, I finally get my chocolate croissant. It was awful. And I get my water. I walk out. And I go to walk to my gate, finally. And as I'm walking, like I said, I pass a bookstore. I pass Hudson News. And hanging outside of Hudson News, out of the corner of my eye, I see an item they have for sale that I see many times at the airport, and I've never really thought twice about because I always thought they were stupid. But this time, for some reason, I'm walking. Well, you'll know the reason. I'm walking. I see it out of the corner of my eye. They have neck pillows. I think you may have seen those. They're those like inflatable things that you wrap around your neck to sleep. Okay. Well, I look at it, and some of you may be familiar with the fact that I've been having some physical trouble the past couple of weeks. I covered it in detail on last week's show, as a matter of fact. And one of the things that I needed was I was having a sweatshirt that I was rolling up into a donut, and I was using that to sit on. Well, out of the corner of my eye, I saw the neck pillows. And the neck pillows are shaped just like one of those donuts. And I was about to take a 6-hour flight to Boston, and I was kind of uncomfortable. And in my head, I was like, wait a minute, maybe if I get one of those, it will alleviate the symptoms, and it will help me out on this flight so I'm not squirming like an idiot the entire fucking time. So I walk over and I grab it. It was only $19. So I buy it, and it's all squishy and stuff, but I'm testing it out. I'm like, oh, I guess this will work. So I pay for it. I walk over, and I get to my gate. There's a chair. And I put the neck pillow down on the chair, and I sit on it because I wanted to test it out and see how it was. So I put it down, and I sit on it. And there's an older man, probably 55, reading the USA Today. He's at a chair. I'm at one chair, there's a table, and then there's him. And I put the neck pillow down, and I sit down, and he looks over from his USA Today. And he leans over, almost with like a smug look on his face. And he goes, I don't think that's how you're supposed to use that. As if he thought I was retarded, and that and he needed to explain it to me. Like I don't know why you're even interfering at this point. It's fucking 7 a.m. Nobody wants to talk to anybody. It's quiet. We just want to get on the plane and fucking sleep. But he looks down from his USA Today, and he had a tie on. He was dressed nice, and he leans over and he's just like almost like smirky, like I don't think that's how you use that. And so I looked at him and I said, "That's how I'm going to use it. Do you want to know why?" And he looked at me and just kind of went like, "No," and he leaned back to his USA Today. Because I was like, "Fuck you! You're not. I'm gonna bubble my. Look at how happy I am to tell you about my ass, friend. You want to know? Yeah, that's how I'm gonna use it. You want to know why? No." Leans back to his paper. Yeah, I didn't fucking think so. So they call us to get on the plane, and when I had checked in, there was nobody sitting next to me. But I knew that wasn't going to last because they said it was a full flight. So I get on the plane, I throw the pillow down, I sit down. And the 2 seats next to me were empty for the longest time, but then finally a couple comes down and they take the seat next to me, and they were very nice. I don't want to say their names in case they decide to tune into this because they found out eventually what I do. But they were really, well, fuck it, I'm going to say their names. It was Armin and Amanda. They were nice people. Amanda took the middle seat next to me, and they were smaller people compared to me. So I immediately apologized to her. I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to fly small. I do apologize. It's the same speech I give to everybody. And behind me, there was an empty middle seat. So I actually turned around and I offered the guy behind me $20 if he would switch seats with me. And he was a big dude too. So he just kind of like laughed and said, no. I'm like, all right, dude. So, Armin, they were very nice, and it turns out they're attorneys, and I knew they were attorneys because as we're talking, they were friendly, and then when I apologized for being a big guy, they were like, "No, please don't worry about it. We're small, so it should work out fine. Everything's going to be good." I said, "Great." So then they tell us to put our seatbelts on, and they close the doors, and Armin starts waving for the sky waitress chick. He's like waving at her, and she's looking, and she's not walking over. And then someone goes, "Push the button." So he pushes the call button, and she comes over, and she goes, "Can I help you?" He goes, "Yeah, we were just wondering if there's any other seats available, once we get in the air, if there's anything." And she goes, "Well, I think there are some seats up here, but they're more middle seats." And he goes, "Okay, yeah, we wanted to see about." And he goes, "What was your name again?" I said, "Mike." He goes, "Yeah, Mike's really uncomfortable, so we'd love to get him another seat somewhere here on the plane and take it." They were negotiating for me to move to a different seat rather than the two of them going and getting other seats. And like I said, he was totally an attorney because you could hear him just starting twisting it around to where it was me who was uncomfortable and it was me who wanted to go. And I just wanted to go, objection. Like I wanted to just completely leap in because I go, wait a minute, are you trying to move me? And he goes, well, yeah. He goes, you said you were really uncomfortable. I go, no, I didn't. I apologized to you guys to tell you that you were going to be uncomfortable, and this is where I'm sitting, and this is the way it works. And the stewardess goes, well, there are some seats. She goes, but they are middle seats. And he looks at me and he goes, Mike, I mean, that might work out for you. You get a different seat. It's a middle seat, but it's an exit row. I go, no. I go, I'm fine where I'm at. I go, when I fly in a window seat on the right-hand side of the plane. I go, why would I move to a middle seat? Then I'm pissing off two people. Anyway, as it is now, I'm bothering Amanda, and that's a drag, but I'm not going to piss off two people, and you guys seem okay with it, or at least you did. And he's like, well, no, we're not mad. I'm just trying to make it comfortable for you. And I go, I'm fine. If you want to move, move. And he's like, all right, okay. And he was genuinely trying to help, but he thought that I was, appealing for his intervention. I don't fucking know. But he was very nice and very eloquent about it. And before you knew it, like I said, he was practically talking them into having me fly the plane. It was amazing. But they were very nice. And I just said, look, I'm not moving. I go, if you guys want to move to other seats, go ahead, but I'm not going anywhere. And they were like, oh, that's no problem. That was great. They were very nice. And the flight was fine. They were nice people, and as a matter of fact, I couldn't sleep for some reason on the way to Boston. I only slept like 2 hours, and then I woke up and I read most of the flight. And they said, hey, they have food for sale here, but we have a sandwich. Do you want it? I'm like, no, I'm okay. And I wound up talking to them. They said, what do you do for a living? I told them I was coming to do a show, and they were showing up for some conference. And I have to say that this guy Armin was the nicest person I think I've ever met in my life. He was a young, really good-looking guy, and Amanda was really nice and also young. They're 33, 32, whatever, lawyers dating for 2 years, and they could not have been nicer people. Like they were so happy to be alive. Like it was the weirdest infectious thing. Yeah, exactly. I because I'm not that. I mean, I am. I mean, I'm happy and excited about some things, but Armin, he could not stop laughing. Like because I mean, I was being me and I was being funny, and so whenever I was funny, because I busted their balls about like a couple hours into the flight. He was like, are you okay over there? I go, yeah, why? Did you want to get me a seat in the wing? How does that work? And then he started laughing. And I go, I couldn't believe you guys were horse trading me. Like, I'm here, right? I'm here. Can I speak for myself? And but he died laughing at everything I said. And he got it. He totally got it. Like, he was almost busted. And they were really friendly and nice. So we had a great trip. And then they go, where are you playing? And I told them, they said, well, we might come to the show. I said, well, if you come to the show, I'll comp you. I said, if you want to come, that's fine. And we got off the plane and they got I gave them my phone number and like he immediately sent me like a Facebook friend thing right off the plane. And I'm like, all right. He goes, yeah, write me on Facebook. And I go, well, you write me if you're coming. I'm not going to chase you down. If you want to come, you know where it's at. I said, plus you've got my Facebook page, go there. That's where it'll tell you all the information. And because I have that stupid thing where, hey, if you want to come, you can come. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not the invite Armin to Mike's show society. All right. If you want to be in the, hey, we want to come to your show society, that's fine with me. But I'm not in the, hey, chase these motherfuckers down society. So that was fine. And they were nice. We separated in Boston. That was fine. So I went down to go and, I had checked my bags. I walked to the airport and, I was a little delayed because I had to put my stuff away. And I always like to I don't like waiting at baggage claim. That sounds stupid, I know. But I'd much rather wait upstairs where there's like restaurants and people and TVs than wait at baggage claim just with everybody doing that horrible thing where they're so rude and they're just lining up right next to the baggage claim. They won't that impenetrable human wall of people who think they're more important than anybody else and they got to get their bag and they're not going to move out of your way or they give you that little sliver of space. I just fucking hate dealing with it. So instead I'd rather wait upstairs. So I took my time walking, hit the head and fucking walked through. Finally, checked my phone, did some texts that I had to take care of, and then I went down to baggage claim. So I walk to baggage claim. We're in carousel 5. So when we come down, 1 and 2 are on the left, 3, 4, and 5 are on the right. 5's all the way toward the wall. So I walk through and I see people from the flight, and they're all milling about, and they're walking away. They've got their stuff. Bags are coming out. So I walk through and I get to where carousel 5 is and I see it spinning, and you do that thing where you look from distance to see where your bag is. And as I walk up, I see there's bags coming out, and then there's just a handle of a suitcase, just broken off with a tag on it. Like it's like they broke it and just included it so it would go with the bag. So I walked up and I didn't break stride, folks. I walk to the terminal. I walk up and I see the handle I see it clearly. I walk through everybody. I'm like, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. I walk up. I grab the handle and I walk out of the airport. I picked up the handle, looked at the tag, and I walked out of the airport. Didn't get another bag, nothing. I had my 2 shoulder bags, and I grabbed the handle and I bailed. And it made, because in my head I was fucking dying. I was dying, and it was worth it to me for the 2 people who saw me do it at the belt, and anybody else who saw me, who watched me, because I didn't break stride. I walked down. I walked past 3 and 4. I saw 5, and I saw the space, and then I saw the handle laying there. I walked right up and I go, "Excuse me, folks." I walked through. I grabbed the handle, checked the tag, walked out of the airport, left. I forgot to say this on stage. I was so mad. And I literally left the airport. I walked out to the sidewalk, and then I walked all the way down to Carousel 1, so I could come back in the airport and get my own bag, and nobody would see me. Like, I didn't want to betray the bit. So I did. So I walked all the way down, and I waited for people to leave, and then I went back in, and I went back and got my bag. And I put the handle on the belt. It was stupid, just stupid. It was just stupid, but it made me laugh, and I'm so mad. I forgot to tell this on stage. I forgot to mention it on stage. I told dudes Thursday, and I forgot to mention it on stage Friday. It pissed me off. But yeah, I didn't. The best part, it was so, dude. When you do stupid shit like that, it has to be flawless, and this was, because I didn't break stride. I walked right through, and I go, "Excuse me," and they moved, and I just grabbed the handle. I looked at the tag, and I walked out. I looked at the tag as if there were more handles coming out. Come on, folks. I walked out. Doubled back in, so I grabbed my bag, and I go to split. And I didn't know if I was gonna. I knew I wasn't renting a car. Those days are fucking gone. So I was gonna grab a shuttle or a cab. So the cab rides are like $35, and there was a shuttle, big gray van, and I said, "How much?" The guy said $22. I said, "I'm in." So I throw my stuff in the shuttle. I get in, and I'm sitting next. There was only one other woman, and I sat next to her. I shouldn't have, but I did. And I said, "Is it okay if I sit here?" She goes, "Yeah." And this is actually true. I sit down next to her and I go, "Is it okay if I sit here?" She goes, "Yeah, it's fine." And she immediately pulled her phone out of her purse and put it to her ear. Like, there was no call. She didn't make a call. No, the phone didn't ring. She just went, "Yeah, you're fine," and reaches in her purse and just puts her phone right to her ear, the ear closest to me, in case I ever had any designs on saying hello or talking or being a human being. She was like, "Fuck you. I'm distracted by this robot from the future that's now against my ear." She didn't even get, like, if you text or go on the internet or something, that would be fine. That would be subtle enough. But not even subtle. She just punched me in the face with the phone. She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Boom. Phone to ear. Shut the fuck up. So I was like, all right, that's fine. So it doesn't matter. I threw my earbuds in. And then as I'm sitting there, Armin and Amanda come walking by, and I go, "Hey," because they were looking for, because because they mentioned that they were staying in a courtyard. And I said, I'm staying in the courtyard too. And it turned out they were the one in Boston proper. I was the one in Cambridge. Because I had asked if they wanted to split a cab, and they said yes. But then it turned out that, because they're in a different hotel, we abandoned that plan. But now I'm in the shuttle. They go walking by because they didn't know how they were getting to town. So I said, "Hey," and they poked their head in, and I go, "It's $22. And they go, "Great, we'll do it." So they did. They paid. They hopped in. They sat in the seat in front of me. And we drove the shuttle to our hotels. We didn't drive. I didn't drive. That would seem ridiculous. "Hey, I'm not from here. Can I drive?" "Sure. You look like you need the day off, sir." I'm in the Relieving the Van Driver Society. So I said, "Go ahead and step off to the fucking shotgun seat." "Yeah, perfect." So he's driving. I'll get the earbuds in. The woman next to me has the phone to her ear like the entire fucking time. She won't even look at anybody. And there's another guy behind me, and in front of me are Armin and Amanda and another person. So we're in the van rolling. And where I was staying in the Courtyard by Marriott in Cambridge. So we have to pass by the Charles River. Well, I didn't know that. I just know this because it's my first time in Boston, and it looked great from the van. We're driving, everything looks cool. It's a beautiful city. And we'd go into the big, we're in a tunnel that takes forever, and another tunnel, and we're driving. And we get near Memorial Drive, I think it was, or Massachusetts, I don't know. We're driving, and we get by the river. And out in the river, there's crew rowing. You know, where they got like fucking 18 douchebag Winklevoss twins rowing while the guy yells at him with a fucking bullhorn, you know? And they're out there because we're by Harvard. I guess it's all rich dudes in you know, they're in their training boats and they're learning how to fucking row, whatever they do. And but I will tell you, it's awesome to see because you don't ever see it. It's like when I was in San Francisco and I saw a battleship for the first time. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" But these dudes are all out there, and there's a bunch of people out rowing crew, and then there's a bunch of people on the side of the river. I guess this is their teams, or if it's the school people, I don't know. But there's a ton of them waiting to get in their boats and go out and row. Now there's a bunch of crew people and a bunch of bullhorn people, and they're all waiting to go out and row. But I will tell you this: they were outnumbered around the Charles River. As we were driving, they were outnumbered by crazy hot girls in tiny running shorts. Like young girls running, they run around the river. I was not prepared for it. Okay. I enjoy ladies, and I'm a fan of looking at them. I enjoyed talking to them and sometimes touching them as well. But I'm in the van, and we're driving, and there's these young girls running by the river in just tank tops and really short shorts, and I mean hot, like crazy hot. And I did this, and they were so hot, and there's so many of them. I told you, you get that weird feeling where you're just like, I'm never gonna fuck any of these girls, and it's that horrible pain in your stomach. And so I see them. And I hadn't even made the connection of I'm going to fuck these girls yet, or I'm not, or whatever. But all I did was I saw the hot girls, and they just kept coming. There were so many of them that you know what I did? I whistled like your uncle would if he saw a nice car. You know what I mean? Just that, like that low. Literally, we're in the van, we're driving, and I have earbuds in, so I don't really know what I'm doing. And I see hot girl after hot girl, and then finally I just go, whoa. I actually said, whoa. And I'm not doing the whistle justice because I've been talking, but it was like, whoa. And that's out loud, folks. And I realized it was out loud because I'm wearing earbuds and don't realize that I said it. And it's a good thing I didn't do my normal one, which is normally woof. Like I'll normally say that, which is then everybody thinks you're an animal idiot. But instead I let out a whoa and a low whistle as if I was just seeing the chassis on a fucking convertible. And the woman with the phone to her ear just does the slow burn turn towards me with the face like, what the fuck was that? And just stares right at me, and I just look at her and I'm like, hi, I'm in the whistling at hot girls society, and she just like fucking turns her head. And I sat there and I'm just like, oh, and I'm wondering if everybody in the van heard it, but I can see the guy behind me's laughing. Like, I mean, it's just brutal. And then we drive, and then we get to my hotel, and more hot girls running. Oh, dude, I don't even know how you do it. I don't know how you do it, Boston. I don't. I couldn't believe the volume of hot girls that were just in this neighborhood in Cambridge where I was. It was crazy. And I was up on the 16th floor, so I could look down upon them all. Ha ha. I was in the staring down at hot girls society from the 16th floor. So I get in and I check into my hotel in Cambridge, and I go upstairs, and I'm going that night to the Red Sox game. Our friend Michael, who started the Bring Mike Schmidt to Boston page, had written me and said, dude, I will get you Red Sox tickets. We'll go to the game. It'll be awesome. And I said, great. I'm excited. So Wednesday night, I knew I was going to the game. So I was in the room, killing time, unpacking, doing those things. I had a couple hours, and I could have done any number of things, but instead I sat there and did nothing. I mean, just went on the web and surfed like an idiot. And so I wrote Michael, I was texting back and forth, and he's like, I said, do you want to pick me up or you want to meet me at Fenway? He's like, it would work out better if we met you at Fenway. And I said, okay, I'll just grab a cab over there. That's fine. And I said, where do you want to meet? I said, I want to get there early because I want to vibe it. Like I want to walk around outside. I understand it's a real cool like tailgating type of thing outside. Not tailgating, but like pre-gaming. They'll be at the bars. And I really wanted to, because I've been to Wrigley. Wrigley's the same way. It's in a neighborhood. So I wanted to see what it was like. And I wanted to go hit up Sausage Guy for a sausage, because that was this place called Sausage Guy, and I had heard that was the place to go. And he's like, well, we'll try to meet you there. I'll stay in contact with you. We'll text, whatever. I said, well, I'm going to go down there around 6:30. Game's at 7. He's like, fine. So went downstairs and grabbed a cab. My hotel was 3.5 miles from Fenway. $21 cab ride later. Which was, I guess, because we were in traffic, or I have no idea what it was, but it was like $1.45 a minute or whatever the fuck. So we're driving, and he gets there, and I pay him his money, and I tip him, and I walked out, and it was fucking fantastic. I mean, it was great outside. The weather was perfect, and then you walk down Lansdowne Street, and it's just there's like sausage vendors and people selling merch, and then people hanging out, and all more hot girls, and they're fucking. And look, I understand in Boston they hate the pink hats and all the girls who've been like Johnny Come Latelys, but fuck that. All right, if you can't recognize the fact that you got hot girls, who cares if they don't know who Johnny Pesky was? I don't give a shit. Jesus Christ. I mean, they're hot. They could show up and go, yay, football. I don't care. And I got the quintessential Red Sox game experience. It was awesome. Honestly, it was the quintessential Boston experience because I got to Lansdowne Street. I got to hang out there. I went to Sausage Guy and had a fucking homemade Italian sausage with peppers. It was fantastic. I got to see the Red Sox hit 2 monster home runs. I got to see the Red Sox win, so I got to hear Dirty Water. I got to hear Sweet Caroline in the 8th inning, and I got to hear a guy call a guy a nigger. So it was perfect. It was absolutely Boston encapsulated. It was everything I wanted and everything I'd hoped. What happened was, before the game, I was on Lansdowne Street waiting to meet Michael and his wife Kathleen and their friend Steve. And I went to Sausage Guy and I grabbed a sausage. I'm sitting on the curb and like a hobo, but it didn't matter because a lot of other people were hoboing. And there were tons of Red Sox fans and all in jerseys and merch and walking. And then some Tiger fans showed up and they're walking too. And there was a group of Tiger fans and one of them was black and he had a Tiger jersey on. And a Boston guy was walking and he goes, check out, he goes, look at these Tigger fans. He goes, oh, look, there's a nigger who likes the Tiggers.
Wow.
To his friends. And they all like high-fived him like, yay. And you know, he didn't say it out loud so the guy could hear, but he was close enough to where someone could have heard him. I heard him. I'm sitting on the ground. And he goes, oh, look, the Tigger fans, you fucking Tigger fans. Oh, look, there's a nigger who likes the Tiggers. Ha ha ha. Just dropped it out right there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in Boston. Awesome. This is exactly what I wanted. I'm in the Please Call a Guy a Nigger Society. And it happened. So I'm sitting on the curb, I'm eating a sausage, and fucking Michael texts, and he's got the tickets to the game, I should say. And I'm waiting, and he's like, hey, man, we're still in the train, or we're lost, or whatever the fuck they were. Finally, they show up, and it was very nice to meet him. Like I said, it was Mike and his wife, Kathleen, who does not listen to the show. And she listened once, and then just stopped for reasons that whatever. And then Steven, who'd never met me, and I think Michael made him listen to one show. And then we went into the park, and Michael was he bought the ticket for me. He didn't make me pay him back. And they were great seats too, if by great seats you mean we were just about outside of the park. They were in right field all the way up in the grandstand. We were in the second to last row of the park with obstructed view. I could not see second or third base. There was a huge like fucking metal column in front of me, and we couldn't see the scoreboard. But I don't give a fuck. Honestly, it was all about being there, the weather, being in the building, and just it was so great. I was so grateful to him for picking up the tickets. We had a good time. And then the game, like I said, I saw the home runs. The Red Sox won. It was fantastic. And then at the end, it didn't matter where we were sitting because I got to go upstairs, up top. Because Kathleen, it was her idea. She's like, hey, I kind of want to see what it looks like from the upper deck. So we went upstairs, and I got to take a ton of Fenway pictures upstairs, like of the Green Monster and the Citgo sign. It was just really great. And then we split. We go out in the street, and the vibe was amazing because the Red Sox had won. And the Celtics were playing at that time. They were playing Miami in Game 2. So everybody was following it on the scoreboards and on their phones. And then when they left Fenway, they all went to the bars to go watch the Celtics games. So it was fantastic. Everybody was just this thing in the air because the Celtics were winning and the Red Sox had won. And it was just a general party atmosphere. So then I went and I had another sausage from a different vendor. I went and had another Italian sausage because I hadn't eaten all day. I didn't eat on the plane. I didn't eat when I was flying. So I ate a sausage with those guys and I hung out. And the Stanley Cup had also started, so the Kings were playing the Devils, and people were watching the Stanley Cup, and it's the East Coast, they're more into hockey, and I just loved the vibe of it. I love a city. I love being in a city, and then the vibe of this city at the time was alive because the Red Sox were winning, Celtics were playing and winning, the Stanley Cup was happening, people were drinking, it was great, and we were hanging out, and then Michael, they had to get their train, so I'm like, well, that's fine, we'll split here, and I'll grab a cab and I'll go back to the hotel because I couldn't wait. Honestly, I was gassed because I didn't sleep on the plane. I'd only slept a couple hours, so I couldn't wait to get to the room. I just wanted to sit back and flip channels between fucking hockey and basketball and hang out. And I love being in a hotel. I love traveling, and also knowing I had the next day off was great. So I get in the cab, and I had worn a flannel shirt. I should tell you, I wore a flannel shirt to the game, just because. I had a T-shirt with a flannel shirt over it. And why is that funny? Why are you laughing at me? Look, it's summer. Yes, I know, but who cares? I wore a fucking overshirt. All right, fine. You know why? Because I'm fat. That's why. Because I didn't want to wear a fucking T-shirt just as a fat guy. I have to wear a cover shirt. Oh, I'm in the Hide Your Fat Society. All right, so I had to wear a fucking shirt over a shirt. So I wore my flannel, and I get into the cab, and it's kind of, I was a little sweaty because it was warm outside. I'm wearing a flannel, but it didn't matter because all four windows in the cab were open. And the air was blowing on me. It was fantastic, just a breeze, and people cheering for the Celtics, and I loved the whole vibe of it. So I went to take my flannel shirt off, and I didn't, for some reason, I didn't unbutton it. I decided to pull it over my head. And it's a long sleeve flannel shirt. So I'm like, and I'm tugging it like over my head like a child. I'm like, and I'm sitting on the tail of it, but I'm trying to move my ass so it hops over, and I pull the flannel. So I'm maneuvering my back, and finally I lean forward and I yank really hard. And when I do it, both of my fists pound into the plexiglass between me and the driver. So it's like, I'm like, wham! And he's like, what is wrong back there? What's wrong? And by the way, I don't know if Dracula was driving my cab, but he may have been, quite frankly. I don't know where that voice was. He was like an African dude from like Ghana or something, but I can't do that voice, so that's who it was. It was Dracula. He was from Transylvania. That's who's driving my cab. So I banged the fucking plexiglass with my fist, and he's like, what is going on back there? Are you drunk? And I'm like, no, I'm not drunk. But then again, I don't blame this guy for being frosty, because if your entire job at all times involves having a drunk guy behind you every second of the day, then of course you'd be worried about what the fuck was going on behind you. So I punch the glass. He freaks out, and I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm not drunk. And I take my shirt and I ball it up, and I'm waiting. And I was just excited. It was nice. And we're going to my hotel, and he takes me there, and the cab ride there on the way back was only $11. So I pay him. I guess the traffic made that much of a difference on the way to the game. So I pay him his $11. I head in, I go upstairs, and I get in the room, and I throw my shirt down the bed, and I turn the TV on. And right now the Stanley Cup is in overtime, and there's about 3 minutes left in the Celtics game. So I'm like, I can catch the end of that. Maybe they'll go in overtime. I'll watch the overtime of the hockey. I'm flipping back and forth. And I wanted to see, I had the pictures, like I said, of Fenway. So I'm like, well, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to Twitter pictures of Fenway and answer some people. So I go to grab my phone, and I was wearing a T-shirt that didn't have a front pocket, which is usually where I keep my phone, or I keep it in my jeans pocket. Well, it's not in my jeans pocket, and because I have no front pocket, I usually then keep it in my flannel shirt pocket, which will explain to you, again, why I was wearing a flannel shirt, not only hiding my fat, but I'm in the I need a place to put my phone society. So it was in the pocket of my flannel shirt. And immediately, I'm not kidding you, I'm sitting at the desk, I got the game on, air conditioning in my room, and I go, you know what, I'm going to Twitter. And I lean forward to grab my phone, and I went, oh no. And I get up, it's not in my pockets, and I grab my flannel, and it's not in the flannel. And I knew then I had left it in the cab. And it had only been like 6 minutes. So I panic, and I grab the receipt for the cab. There's no phone number on it. So I Google cab companies Boston, and I'm looking for Brigham Cab Company. And it comes up where it says Boston Cabs, and it has a phone number. It says, call this number. So I call them, and it's a recording. And it says, if you have calling about a lost item inside of a cab, you need to press 1. So I'm like, all right, well, cool. This will get me to a human. So I press 1, and then there's a series of clicks. And then it says, we are now closed. Please leave a message, and you can call tomorrow to find out if your item. And I'm like, no, you're closed. Why are you closed? How can you be closed? People lose shit all the time in cabs. Why isn't there somebody there 24 fucking hours? So I hang up the phone. So I Google again looking for a number, and then I find another number you can call for a cab. So I call this cab, and by the way, these phone calls are coming from inside my room on the phone. Now, if you know anything, you know that because of the advent of cell phones, calling from your room, they've raised it through it's like $1,000 to call from your fucking room. Vegas is brutal. Vegas, it's like $4 a call if you use their phone. Same thing with the payphones in Vegas. It's $5. It's crazy because they know everybody else has a phone, so they're going to gouge you when they can. So I had to make these calls from my room from that phone. So I dial out again. I call this other person, and now someone answers, and she's like, "You need a cab?" I said, "I was just in a cab, and I left my phone in it." She goes, what's the name of the cab? What's the cab number? I said, it was Brigham Cab, and I had the receipt. It had the cab number and the hack number. She goes, what's the cab number? And I said, I got this. I got the hack number. And she goes, okay, calm down, sir. It's no problem. I'll go ahead and get on the radio, and I'll find him, and we'll find out if he's got your phone. Hold tight. And she puts me on hold. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and about 10 minutes goes by, and I'm wondering if she forgot about me or what, so I was going to hang up and call back. But instead, she comes back on the phone. She goes, sir? I go, yeah. She goes, he's not answering his phone, and he's not answering his radio. I don't know exactly where he is. And I go, well, is he off? She goes, no, he's scheduled to work all night, so I've put him on suspension. I've suspended him so he can't get any work. So no matter what dispatcher he calls, they will not let him pick up work because they're going to tell him that he has a lost item in his cab and he has to look for it and find it. I said, okay, and what's your name? Her name was Mary. And I go, okay, so what do I need to do? She goes, well, give me your phone number where you're at. And I did. And she said, you know what you need to do is call your phone. Call it until somebody answers it or grabs it or whatever, because it will, it'll let him know that it's in there. And so call your phone a couple times. I said, okay. And I go, how do I call you? Do I wait for you to call me back? And she says, well, no, I will call you back because he's going to call me the second he gets any sort of work. So we'll tell him that there's a phone in the cab. I said, fine, because what the fuck else can I do? I mean, there's nothing I can do. So I hang up, and then I pick up my phone. First, I sent an email to Karen. I'm like, because I don't want to call California. So I sent her an email. I said, you have to call me in the hotel room immediately. And I gave her the number. And then I called my phone, which is long distance. I'm calling California on the I had to call it. I called it 3 times. It went right to voicemail all 3 times. And also, here's the bad news. I don't have a ringer on my phone. I have it on buzz because I don't, you know why? Because I don't have a cool ringtone. I have to pull one of those fucking stupid Apple ones where it's like, fucking strum guitar or a duck quacking. I don't want any of that bullshit. I want, Slayer. I wanted a good ringtone, and you guys were very nice. You all told me how to make ringtones, and I got no fucking clue how to make a ringtone. So I said, if I don't have a good ringtone, I'll have no ringtone. It'll just buzz. So that's not helping. I'm just buzzing in the back of the fucking cab, I'm sure. So I call 3 times. Then I'm waiting. About 20 minutes goes by. And I call Mary again. And I'm like, hi, Mary, it's Mike. And she's like, yeah, I haven't heard from him yet. I go, how have you not heard from him? I mean, he left here. It was only like 5 minutes. I missed him by 5 minutes. And is he gone? Is he at lunch? Does he have to tell you when he goes off the grid? And she's like, I'm trying. I swear to you, I'm trying. I've got word out. He's on suspension. He can't pick up anybody else. I'm letting you know. But cab drivers are fucking shady. He could be picking anybody up and driving them himself and pocketing the cash. I don't know how it fucking works. All I know is apparently I think that they're all shady. I don't know why that would be the case. They're making a living. They got, I'm punching the plexiglass on this guy fucking hours ago. I'm in the Disturbing Africa Society. I don't blame him if he takes my phone and he whips it into the goddamn river. He's got to be pissed off I punched the plexiglass on him. And by the way, if he did do that, I hope to God he threw it in the river, because that means I will get to accompany the cops and I will go there and watch the girls run by, and it won't feel so bad, quite frankly. I'll be there observing Hot Girls Society. That's what I'll be in. As the search for my phone society takes to the boats. And believe me, when the crew guys go by and the guy in the bullhorn goes, stroke, I will wind up in jail. Because I'm just going to go, hey, he told me to. He said it was okay. So I'm waiting in the room, and I don't hear from her. I don't hear from him. And I get a message light blinking on the phone. I call downstairs, and the guy's like, hey, you've got 2 phone calls. I go, who? And he goes, well, one woman called and said it was urgent, so I'm sure that was Karen. And then he goes, you have another phone call too. It was another woman. I go, when did she call? He goes, well, she called just a second ago. And I'm like, well, why didn't you put it through? And he goes, well, because I was on the other line with the other woman too, and I just wound up taking 2 messages. And I'm like, fuck. So I call Mary, and I go, hey, did you call here? She goes, I did. And I go, did you find him? She goes, no, I just wanted to tell you that we still hadn't found him. And I'm like, why are you in the False Hope Society, Mary? That makes no sense. And now it's like 45 minutes. And I go, where? It's been 45 minutes. She goes, I know. I've tried on the radio. I've tried to call him. He must hear it on the radio. He has to hear his name. I don't know why he's not responding on the phone. And I go, there's a beat. And I go, Mary, is he dead? And she goes, I certainly hope not. And I'm like, well, because that seems like a hazard, right? Wouldn't that maybe happen? I don't fucking know. I don't want to say that. Whatever. I just want my phone, Mary. She's like, I understand. Relax. It's okay. So she goes, I'm sure it'll be just another few minutes. And I go, okay. So I hang up the phone, and then I was going to call Karen, but I'm like, I'm in my head, I'm like, I've made so many fucking phone calls anyway. I've made 8 phone calls, 3 of them to California. I should just call her. And I go, all right, call Karen. And as I go to call Karen, the phone rings. And I pick it up, and she goes, Mike? And I go, yeah. She goes, it's Mary. We got him. I go, what do you mean you got him? She goes, I got him. I got him. He's got your phone. He's going to bring it back to the hotel. He's got it. He's on his way. I said, you're kidding me. She goes, no. And I go, what took him so long? She goes, I don't know. He finally got through to me, and I told him to look for the phone, and he has it, I guess. And he said he's going to bring it right back to your hotel. I said, that's amazing. Mary, you are so, I can't believe you called me. I can't believe you were so with me on this. Is there a supervisor I can talk to? You have a phone number for him? And she goes, well, he's here right now. I said, put him on the phone. She goes, great, hold on. So she puts me on hold. And because I can't wait to tell the supervisor what an amazing job she did. And the fact that he's there, he must have seen the saga unfold. He must know what's happening. And I want to be in the Praise Mary Society. So I'm waiting. I'm on hold. And sure enough, the phone is like, it's going through. And then this is what happens. This is not a goof at all. Like, I'm on hold for 5 minutes. And she told me, I should tell you this, before she put me on hold for this, she gave me the cell phone number of the driver. She goes, so now you have his cell phone, so you can call him and tell him, whatever, and he can call you. He has your number. I said, great. So then I asked about the supervisor. I'm on hold. 5 minutes goes by. I'm on hold with the supervisor, and this is what happens. It's like this weird clicking noise. And then I hear ka-ching, and you hear that weird bell, like someone grabs the phone, and he picks it up and he goes, what do you want? Slam. Slams the phone down. That was it. Just, what do you want? And then hangs up the phone. I had no idea Louis De Palma worked in Boston. Just this sourpuss asshole who just picks up the phone. What do you want? And slams it down. And I was infuriated, quite frankly. So I called them immediately back. And Mary answered the phone. I said, hi, Mary, I got cut off on the way to your supervisor. She goes, oh, well, hold on. She put me through to him. And I go, hi. And he goes, hi, I'm John. What do you want? I said, you just hung up on me, John. He goes, yeah, I didn't hear you talking. I go, because you said, what do you want? And hung up the phone, John, like right away. And he's like, well, what do you want? And I said, why? And I explained the saga of Mary and how she'd helped me out and all this stuff. And he was like, yeah, well, we really like Mary too. That's why we just gave her a really big raise. And I'm like, look, I'm not asking for the history of Mary's pay envelope. I just want to tell you she did a good job, you dick. Like he was almost like contemptuous. Like, yeah, we like Mary too. Like territorial. Like I was going to steal her away. Like I don't want to marry her. So I was just like, all right, well, I just wanted to make sure you knew what a good job that she did. And she really, really helped me out because I'm from out of town. And he's like, yeah, okay, great. Like, it's just a dick. Boston. I can't do the Boston accent, but he had one heavy. And so I'm like, all right, so, thanks. And I hung up. So then I pick up the phone and I call the driver. And he's like, what do you want? Like, because again, it's Dracula. And I said, hey, it's me. You're driving me my phone. He's like, yes, I'm on my way to the hotel now. 2 minutes. And I go, all right, I'll meet you downstairs. He goes, fine. And then, blah, 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 and he starts talking in a language that I don't understand, like Dracula language, whatever the fuck. And I'm like, great, good. I'll see you then. I hang up the phone. So I get in the elevator. I go downstairs. And as I walk past the desk, this guy goes, are you in room 16? I said, yeah. Or on floor 16? And he says, 1610? And I go, yeah. He goes, hey, I have an urgent call for you. And I go, is it a woman? He goes, yeah. And I go, tell her I'll call her right back. He goes, she says it's an emergency. And I knew it was Karen because she knew I wanted her to call. So I go over to the phone and I grab it. And I go, oh, and she goes, Michael, what's wrong? I go, it's no big deal. I lost my phone, but now I got it. I got to go outside. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. I promise. And she's like, all right, oh, whatever. And I just hung up the phone because I didn't want this guy to drive away without my phone. So I look outside. There's the cab. I walk out. And he comes walking up the stairs. And he's like, hello. And I go, hi. And he goes, oh, yes. He goes, you're very lucky. I said, good. And he's got my phone in his hand. And I tipped him $10. I took $10 and I handed it to him and I go, dude, I can't, you are so amazing. Thank you so much. And he goes, what is this? I go, it's a tip, man. Thank you for bringing my phone back. He goes, it's $21. I said, what? He goes, it's $21 to come here to bring the phone to you. I go, so you set the meter and gave my phone a ride in your cab? He's like, yes, $21. I was over at the Sheraton. I had to come over. So yes, you have to pay. You have to pay for my time. So he charged me $21 to drive my phone over. And I looked at him and I'm like, fuck, seriously? All right. I go, you know what? Give me my 10 back. He goes, well, that's your money. And I go, yes, give it back. I'll pay you other money. I just give it to me. And he's still holding my phone. So we walk over to the car and I go, hey, I need a receipt for this. He goes, no, but that's okay. That's okay. And he sits in the car with my phone in his hand. And he gives me back the $10. So I pick out $21 and I hand it to him. And I go, can I have the phone? And he goes, oh, yes. And he hands me the phone. And then I tipped him $5 anyway. Because that's who I am. Whatever, I had to. I'm an idiot, but I did. And he hands me the phone and he goes, you are very lucky. I said, yeah, I'm so lucky. I just coughed up $26 to get my phone back. He goes, no, you are very lucky. You are a superstar. I said, okay, well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. He goes, no. He goes, if you were not superstar, they would not have given your phone back. I said, what do you mean? He goes, there's a guy at the Sheraton. He heard your name on the radio. They said I had phone, and he knew. They said you had picked up at Fenway, and he knew you were a baseball superstar when he heard your name, and so that's why he gave the phone back to me. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, look, he heard that I picked you up at Fenway. He heard, and he knew you were a baseball superstar from your phone because it has Philadelphia on it. And I went, so because he knew, and he goes, yes, I told him I picked you up at Fenway, so he knew that you were a baseball superstar, so he handed me the phone. Otherwise, he probably would have keep. And I said, oh. I said, well, that's good. I'm so glad. Thank you. I'm glad that he heard that. I'm glad you gave me the phone. And he handed it to me, and I go to walk away, and he goes, all right, so yes, thank you. And he goes, he told me he's at the Sheraton, but now he said he may come by for autograph sometime this weekend. I go, send him by. Happy to do it. Fucking walked away. And he got in his cab, and he fucking drove off. So the only reason, and it made me laugh because I wanted to say to him, so the only reason I'm getting the phone back is because you thought I was Mike Schmidt, the baseball player? But the person, because she had me give her my name. I told her my name was Mike Schmidt, and he had picked me up at Fenway. She said that over the radio to him, and the guy in the backseat obviously heard it, and I have a Phillies phone carrier. So he must have seen the Phillies on the phone, heard my name, heard baseball, and immediately thought I was Mike Schmidt, the baseball player, and turned in my phone. I could only wonder why he didn't ask to ride over to the fucking courtyard. And then my fat ass comes wandering out. Who are you? I'm Mike Schmidt. Give me my fucking phone. But he was in the I only do favors for Superstar Society. So thank God he didn't make the trip. And I took my phone and I went upstairs. Crazy. And I should tell you this. It was Wednesday night. When I lost my phone, I was supposed to call Mex and tell him what artwork to do for the show. So when I get the phone back, there's like fucking 5 text messages from Mex. He's like, dude, I'm fading because he's all the time difference and bullshit. And so then I had to contact him. He's like, dude, I'm half asleep. And then he still was able to churn out artwork for me. It's amazing. But I felt awful, because then I'm like, it's like 11 o'clock by him. He's got a life. But he was nice enough to go ahead and take care of it, which was good. But, yeah, so then I that night, I'm supposed to stay up and do my email blast and all the Facebook stuff, and I was so gassed from not sleeping, I laid down. I said, you know what, fuck it. I went to bed at 12:45, like a normal human being. I went to bed at, I guess maybe that's not a normal human being, but, almost 1 o'clock, I went to sleep, and I got up at fucking 6:30. Like, I got 5.5 hours, and got up and then did, because in my head, I went, you know what, dude, in California, you wouldn't do the email and stuff until 2 or 3 anyway. So that's 6 here on the East Coast where you're at, and so I felt so. And I wake up and there's text messages from Lily, who's very nice because she always checks with me, to tell me the show's up and blah blah blah. And I was asleep, I was dead. So woke up Thursday, show was up, did all my stuff, and I went out and walked around the lake, and saw girls. That was fun. Yeah, stroke. Watched some crew dudes, watched that, because I just wanted to be outside, man. It was really nice. And that was in the daytime. But then when I came home, like I said, I did my Facebook stuff, my email stuff, and Twitter stuff. And I knew I was having dinner that night with Drew, who had won the Kickstarter bidding. And I was going to a restaurant called Rialto, which I'll get to in a second. But I also knew in the afternoon I was going to go set up chairs at the YMCA. So I was trying to find out who was going to be involved, and I was talking to people via Facebook, and I asked if anybody could pick me up, and it turned out Martin, a listener of the show, who I've done his podcast called Comical Cast. Martin said he would pick me up at the hotel, and there were a couple of other guys, Ian and Jamie, who said they would meet us at the YMCA. So I said we'd do it at 1, and then we'd maybe have lunch afterwards. So Martin showed up at the hotel, picked me up at 1 o'clock, and real nice guy, and he picked me up in his Prius. We went over to the YMCA. And they were doing construction on the YMCA. They were putting in another sadness wing, so that was good. It had to be up by the weekend. So there was no parking in the neighborhood, so poor Martin, he dropped me off, and he went to go park, and he had to pay for a lot. And well, he was driving around when I walked in. Ian and Jamie were in the lobby waiting for me, and it's so funny. I've been in buildings before that they jump all over you the second you walk in. They want to know who you are and what you're doing and who you're visiting. But in this YMCA, they didn't do it to me. Like, nobody said anything because they're just used to fucking hobos shambling in and out. So I walked in, nobody said anything at the front desk. I met Ian, I met Jamie, and we went walking through the hallways just looking for the theater. And because they said we got to take an elevator, because they had already checked. So we walked down and we made this right-hand turn, and then some woman finally spoke up. She's like, dudes, who are you? Where are you going? I said, I'm looking for the theater. She goes, oh, you got to go back to that other hallway, go up to 2R. So we did. We went up to the theater, and we walk in, and the theater was different. Like, it's funny. They took the picture on the website for the Cambridge YMCA Theater. They took it from the balcony. So you see the balcony, and it looks really nice. It's kind of this neat view. But then when you come in on the ground floor, it's just a big room. You know what I mean? I guess it's a theater in the sense that it's a room with a stage. But I didn't mind. Again, it was very nice, and the people there were very nice to me. So I had to see Frank. She called Frank, and Frank came down to meet me at the theater, and he was very nice. And I will tell you, Frank, I was completely thrown by Frank's appearance. He looked like Adam Arkin. Like, I didn't think he was old like that on the phone, but he's an older dude. And he shows me the room, and all the chairs were stacked up on the side. So then Jamie and Ian took the initiative. They started stacking chairs and just putting them out on the floor. And I had sold, at the time, I had sold about 60 tickets. So I was like, all right, we need at least 60 seats, but put more out just in case. We wound up putting out, I think, 75 to 80 seats. And they were very nice. They were stacking them, and as they're putting them out, I'm walking with Frank, and he's showing me the green room. He's saying, you can go here, and he takes me. He's like, the green room is downstairs, so he takes me down this back hallway, and there's this room, and it's got a key, and he opens it up, and it's right by the gym, like that. There's hobos shooting set shots, and he takes me into the green room, and he's like, yeah, here's where your stuff can go, and you can lock the door, and then there's these little lockers here if you want to lock up your own stuff. And I go, I didn't bring a tumbler lock with me on the trip, Frank. I didn't think I was trying to lock everything down from all these grabby hobos. And he's like, well, haha, you're fine. So I said, all right, they'll give me a key tomorrow for the door. And he goes, yes. So I went upstairs, and we looked around, and meantime, they're setting up the chairs. And Martin finally shows up after 70 of the 75 chairs are set up. But it's because he had to find a parking spot. I understood that because Ian and Jamie are on bikes. I mean, they're just like, because they understand what Boston is like. Because I will tell you this, Boston was a gorgeous city, but I don't know who set up the fucking streets in that city. Everything runs parallel from one another. You can't get anywhere. Everything's a zigzag. And another thing, I don't know what kind of construction you've got going on, but it's beautiful in some parts. And then you turn like 2 left turns, and it looks like the Avengers had a fight there. I mean, it's just disheveled piles of rubble. It looked like me, disheveled. But sure enough, so I'm walking through. I'm checking everything out with Frank. And Martin is talking to Ian and Jamie. They're all sitting there. And the funny thing, Martin kept doing this weird thing. He kept trying to talk to Ian and Jamie, and he kept saying, hey, what's your guys' favorite episode of The 40-Year-Old Boy? Hey, what about that time when Mike said this? Like, he keeps bringing things up that I'm there. You could include me in the conversation, but he keeps asking questions about me to them in front of me. It was the weirdest thing. Such an odd dynamic. I'm here, dude. So I'm not in your earbuds. I'm actually physically here in the front seat of your Prius. We can talk. So it was very odd, but Frank shows me the backstage. I said, well, where can I keep my stuff? Down in the green room. I don't want to go down there. I went in the backstage area, and I said, so this will be all set up with audio. He goes, yeah, Chris is taking care of it. This guy, because they switched the audio guy on me to Chris, who was really nice via email. Everything was square. So then another woman shows up with Frank, and she starts looking at the theater. He's showing her places to go, and she sees the seats. She's like, oh, these are nice. And I'm like, tell her that the fucking seats won't be set up. She's got to come the day before and fucking do it. But I didn't. So Frank takes her backstage, and she was like a real short-fingered, boot-wearing fucking lesbian chick, which is fine. I don't know what show she was putting on. The Boston Scissoring Festival. I think that was going on there, which is being held, of course, by the Boston Scissoring Society, which you guys all know. Yeah, I'm a fan of the Boston Scissoring Society. I just didn't know they had advanced to the point where they were having a festival just yet, but that's fine. So I talked to the guys. I'm like, hey, I think we're all set. You guys want to go try to grab lunch? They said, yeah. I said, what's around? Because I had looked for a pizza place because I figured 4 guys, we can go get pizza and that'd be fine. It wouldn't be 4 idiots just trying to call their shot with sandwiches. And I was paying for lunch, so I was happy to get pizzas for everybody. So I mentioned there was a place called Area 4, which was close. And they knew of some other places because they knew the neighborhood. And then Frank comes walking back on stage, and I go, all right, I think we're done. Frank, I'm going to get here tomorrow night at 5:30. Chris will be here. I go, you going to be here? He goes, no, I won't be here. I said, good. The chairs are set up. That's fine. Nobody will touch these. He goes, no. He goes, and also I need to tell you, but at the end of the night, you have to restack the chairs. And look, folks, I had booked this room, and I had already checked on the fact that he said I had to stack the chairs. That's fine, whatever. If I got to do that, that's fine. But they had already changed my start time because of a noise curfew. They had given me one audio guy, and he had been on point with me, and then they switched me to another audio guy who had no fucking idea what I needed. And now I showed up, a day early to set up chairs while Frank left me to go show the theater to another client. And he's like, remember, you got to stack up the chairs tomorrow when the show's finished. And I had enough of Frank and his making me do shit. So I went, are you fucking serious? And he blanched and made a face and was like, huh? And I go, you can't be serious. You've switched my audio guy twice. You've made me come in early and set up chairs. I go, I'm doing the show. You can't have... I go, how many hobos live in this building? They can't come and fucking stack the chairs for me tomorrow? Honestly. I'm sure these guys are looking for something to do. Have them come down and stack stuff. You're going to make me stack the fucking... You're not even going to be here? I mean, I lost my mind. And I was trying to be nice about it, but I was also... There was bass in my voice. And, Martin, Ian, and Jamie are there, and I could see they're kind of like, oh, boy, this is going to be bad. But actually, maybe they didn't even notice. Like, Ian and Jamie are just still trying to listen to Martin, as Martin's like, hey, Mike Schmidt is here. You ever see Mike Schmidt when he talks to a guy about named Frank and he says, are you fucking serious? Yes, Martin, we've seen it. It's directly in front of us at this moment. And then Frank goes, well, I'll tell you what I can do? I can email you right away. I go, yeah, email me. He goes, yeah, because, there might be another show that could use the chairs on Saturday. I said, good. I said, that's fine, because I came in early and these guys were nice enough to help me stack them up. Tomorrow night after my show, I'm doing the meet and greet, and you've already got a noise curfew that I can't exceed. I'm not going to finish the show and then stack chairs. It's not going to happen. And he's like, all right, well, I'll check the email and I'll figure it out. Maybe Chris can help. And I go, good, let me know. I go, let's get the fuck out of here. And so we left. And then there was a pizza place that was maybe a half mile away. It took 35 minutes to get to it because we had to make left turns the entire time. We had to go straight up, make a left, make a left, make a left, make a left, trying to find it. I mean, the whole, it's like driving an asterisk. That's basically what we did. We drove up, came doan, drove up, went around. I mean, just fucking brutal. So finally we find a parking spot and we get out and we walk. We walk to Area 4. And it was good. We the food was good. They had a pizza with I will tell you this, because I had Googled best pizza in Boston and Area 4 had come up, but it was fancy pizza. Like they had a pizza that was a spring vegetable pizza with like pea shoots and stuff, and we tried that. It was good. It tasted good, but it was like I just wanted a fucking like a red sauce sausage pizza. That's all I wanted. But we didn't get that. But we had the fancy pizza, which was still good. And we all ordered the food. And then the bill came and fucking Martin snagged it. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that. I wouldn't have ordered 2 pizzas. And he's like, no, it's fine. I want to do it. So he was nice enough. He paid for lunch. And I didn't want a big lunch anyway because I knew I was going to dinner. So I go back to the hotel and grab a shower, get ready, just, doing more Facebook stuff. And then Drew calls me and he's picking me up. And he's like, are you on 16? Because I got to bring some stuff upstairs. And I said, yeah, because I had to give him his artwork and stuff anyway. So I get showered, I get ready. He shows up, and then he knocks on my door. I open the door. Oh, yeah. He's in the I can't wait to hug Mike society. But I open the front door, and Drew is there. He brought me Propel, okay? Yeah, but he brought me an ice chest full of Propel, as if I were a pirate of some sort. I mean, it's just this huge styrofoam ice chest, and my favorite part, on it, he's written Propel. As if you couldn't open it up and see what was in it. So Drew wrote Propel, and there's like fucking 20 bottles of Propel inside, and he's got another 6-pack on top of that. So he brought all that in, and I'm like, dude, why did you... I would have come down and meet you and brought it up, and then I gave him his artwork stuff, and he was real cool. And I should tell you, Drew, Drew's at benspark.com, and I thought for the longest time his name was Ben, but his name is Drew Bennett. But he's got, benspark.com, and then he's got like 9 other parenting blogs. I mean, he's got like 8,000 Twitter followers, and he follows 6,000 people, and he's one of those dudes. He's completely involved in it. He is immersed in technology. So, So I give him his swag, and he's like, great. We go downstairs. We get in the car. And it's funny, Drew, I talked to Drew on the phone a few weeks ago, and this is our first conversation ever. I go, hey, Drew Bennett, Mike Schmidt. He's like, oh, my gosh, hi, what's going on? I go, nothing. I go, how you doing? He goes, I just buried a cat. And I said, what? He goes, yeah, I had to bury a cat today. It's a long time family. Whatever. I don't even know why I'm telling you this. Well, I'm sorry. He was all flabbergasted. And then I did the show the next week, and then he wrote me afterwards, and he's like, I can't believe you didn't mention the phone call about the dead cat. Because I should tell you this, he wrote me an email then to apologize. I can't believe I mentioned my dead cat. It's ridiculous. Why would I tell you that? It was just weird to have the TV come to life like you say. And then I do the show, and I don't mention it. He's like, I can't believe you didn't mention the dead cat. I go, look, you got to be a lot more fucking stupid to get mentioned on the show, all right? You have to tell me to pour salt in my ass to fix my global hemorrhoid. That'll get you mentioned. Not that that's stupid. It probably works. I don't know. So he comes upstairs and we have that history. I know that he's got a dead cat buried somewhere on his property, so that's good. We go downstairs, hop in the Prius, and we go to the Rialto, which is not far. It's only a couple miles from the hotel. Park, go inside, walk past Legal Seafood. We get our seat, and the Rialto was voted best restaurant in Boston by Boston Magazine and the Zagat survey. It's Italian, but fancy Italian. So we walked in, and the food was great. I mean, I see the list, and we go to order food, and I said to him, I go, look, I mean, I'm going to take pictures of food, and he's like, oh, my God, look at my time stream, because he does. He also Twitters tons of pictures of his food, and I said, well, I kind of do it, and I joke with people, and people bust my balls. I go, it's kind of a thing now when I go from city to city, and he's like, all right, well, yeah, I'm into it, definitely, because I'll do the same thing. So I said, all right. So we ordered our food, and I'm like, what do you want? I felt like his date. It was so awful. I'm like, what do you want? And he got the salumi antipasti, and I got a salad that I wanted to start with, and because I like a citrus opener, folks. Kicks my palate in the balls. So there was a salad they had, and it was Bibb lettuce with grapefruit and mandarin fruit, orange sections, Marcona almonds, and avocado. And a vinaigrette. It was so delicious. So they bring it, and I take the picture. I Twitter it out. He takes a picture of whatever. I take a picture of his stuff. We're all taking pictures of because we're totally gay for food. And I started eating the salad. Now, the thing is, the key, as you know, with all those ingredients, when it's that deconstructed, you need to get some grapefruit and some lettuce and an almond and some avocado and eat it. It's how you eat bites of salad. So he's eating his salumi antipasti, which came with homemade ricotta and some walnut bread, and it was good. I tried it. So I'm eating my salad, and then I go, hey, you want to try some salad? So he tried some salad, and we're talking and making conversation, and then he was finishing his salumi stuff, and I go, hey, do you want any more salad? Because I'm gonna eat it. He goes, well, I'll have one more bite of salad. I said, okay, and he reaches over with his fork, and he scoops up all of the avocado on the plate, and he eats it. What the fuck is wrong with you? He said he wanted a bite of salad. He takes one ingredient. There's 5 components to this salad. He takes one of the components, the whole thing. He hoovers up the entire fucking avocado and wolfs it down like a monster. Like an avocado stealing monster. It was like, there's anger, grief, denial, bargaining, and acceptance. It's like he just ate bargaining right off my plate. And I had to move right to acceptance. Accepting a salad without fucking avocado. The fuck is wrong with you, Drew? I couldn't believe it. And I went, did you just eat all the fucking avocado? Like, well, who does that? Who does that? This food comes with a map to show you how to eat it. You don't eat all the avocado and then all the almonds and all the fucking grapefruit. It's supposed to be, it's a medley. It's a harmony. You've ate my French horn. That's what you did. I had an entire horn section. You ate my French horn. This food symphony is never going to sound the same. Because you ate my fucking French horn, Drew. Who does that? Scoops up all the avocado and wolfs it down like an animal. Like a goddamn green-toothed monster. Who the fuck do you think you are? Eat your salumi antipasti. He's like I didn't pick up the board and crack him over the fucking head with it. So I go, what the fuck did you just do? Did you eat all the avocado? And he's like, and he just starts laughing because he's so busted and ridiculous. And then I'm like, did he do it on purpose, like as a joke, so there would be a confrontation? Like, what are you doing, you button pushing asshole? And I'm like, who eats all the avocado? Who does that, Drew? Honestly, tell me who. Who would take one component and eat the entire component? And he's trying not to, he's laughing and talking and he's trying to talk. And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean, I go, what do you mean you didn't mean to? You asked for a bite of salad. You didn't say, may I eat everything on the plate that's green? Who eats all the fucking avocado, Drew? Are you shitting me? That wasn't part of your Kickstarter rewards. It didn't say caricature, print, phone call, t-shirt, dinner, and all the avocado you can muster. God damn it. I didn't realize you were in the Ruin Schmitty's Salad Society, you fuck. So I'm looking at him and I said, well, did you eat all the fucking avocado? Like, I couldn't believe it. And he's trying to talk and he can't. And I'm fine. I'm just like, all right, that's fine. And I was minorly annoyed. I was just a little bit annoyed, but I was also busting his balls because it was such a dumb thing to do. Nobody does that. And then the rest of the meal continued. Everything was fine. We ordered food that came. There was bucatini and tagliatelle, and I ate a bunch of pasta and I ate the salad. And we got along fine. We were talking and everything was great, but the avocado incident had faded in our minds. And as the meal went on, they bring us all our food, and I got completely full because I get full when I go to you go to a fancy restaurant. You're eating 5 fucking courses, but also I was eating pasta courses, and that'll fill you up super quick. So I even said, I don't think I should order an entree, man. I don't know if I'm going to eat it. And then sure enough, I ordered it, and sure enough, I didn't eat any of it. Like I ate like 3 bites of the porchetta. And it came with a potato panzerotti, and it had some kale and stuff, and some spring onions and some ramps. So it was good. I ate a bite of everything, and then said I'm done. And so he took it. Of course he took it. Why wouldn't he fucking take it? Even if I hadn't finished, he would have said, hey, can I have a bite of that? And he would have just fucking picked up the plate and scraped it into his mouth. God damn you, Drew Bennett. So we finally finished eating. And as we're finished, they're like, do you want dessert? And I was full. I was crazy full. And I didn't want any dessert. And then Chef Jody Adams, she's the chef. She was on Top Chef Masters, and it's her restaurant. She came out. And she started taking photos with another table. So I stood up and I was like, I'd actually like to get a photo with her. But I said, I'm going to use the restroom. So I went to the restroom, and I then vomited out all of the wonderful meal that I had just eaten, because that's what I do, folks. I apologize, but sometimes that happens. It was just because I was starting to feel awful because I had eaten pasta in addition to the salad and the salumi. It was just, I just ate too much. And so I was in bad shape. So I had to because I even Twittered it. I said, I have no room for nothing else except my fingers. And so then I said I wanted to meet the chef, and everybody's like, yeah, well, don't let her read the fucking dessert joke. You know what I mean? So I came back to the table, and Drew's ready to go, and he gets up, we go to leave. And then I was right near the door, and I fuck this, I'm going to check. So I went back to a guy and I said, hey, I saw Chef taking pictures. Is there a way I can take a picture? And he said, no. Those guys, it's like a special deal, like a charity thing, and she's already in the back, and she's probably in the back for the night. She's back of the house. And I was like, all right, cool. So that was fine. And Drew and I split. We went back to the hotel, and we hung out in the lobby to talk, and I got about probably a half hour of talking, and then I started to fade big time because, again, I'd only had 2 hours of sleep the day before, 5 hours that morning, and I finally said to Drew, I go, look, I don't mean to be mean, but I have to go to sleep. And he's like, all right, cool. And it was nice seeing him. So I said I'd see him at the show. I went upstairs and crashed out. And I did. I fell asleep. It was like midnight. I went right to bed. And I woke up at 9 a.m., which was good. I got 9 hours, but still I'm up early. And then Friday's planning for the show. So I was getting ready. And I don't eat Friday before the show. And it's funny because at the Courtyard by Marriott, they had a Japanese steakhouse that serves sushi in the lobby. And it was a constant fight over 3 days to not just keep going downstairs and eat sushi. And it delivered, they had room service till 11 p.m. So I could have had it sent to the room. Like Friday that was the real bad one, was Friday when I was in the room. Because I kept thinking, I could just go get sushi, just go get a sushi roll. But I refused because I don't eat before the show. Grab a cab, get to the theater at 5:30, the YMCA anyway. And I go in, and they were very nice. The woman at the counter, I told her what I was there for, and I went in, and I unpacked, because I told him I needed when I go to the show, all I care about, I just need a mic stand with a round base and a table. That's all I need on stage. So I show up, there's nothing on stage, whatever the fuck. So I grab a table, I find one, and it's it comes up to my ball sack, but I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll drag that on stage. It's the best I can do. And I put my propels on there, and I usually bring a towel with me on the road. I have a black hand towel. I talked about this before. I forgot it in my room. I left it in my fucking hotel room. So I go to the front desk because I figured they're in the business of keeping hobos clean, so they got to have a towel, right? So I go up and there was a woman, and I said, "Hey, do you happen to have a towel that I could use?" She's like, "Yeah." So she goes in the dryer and grabs a hot towel and hands it to me. So I brought the towel in and I put it on the table, put my propels up there, and then Chris shows up, the audio guy. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "Good." I said, "When I grabbed this table, I hope that's okay." He goes, "Yeah, I think so." And I go, "I just need you to get the mic stand. I don't know where it is." And he goes, "All right, I got to haul out the equipment." So he starts getting out the audio and pulling it out of closets and setting it all up. I'm in the back, and he starts looking around. He's kind of, I hear him rummaging. And he finally comes in and he goes, "Hey, I can't find a microphone stand." I said, "That's probably not good." And he's like, "Well," he goes, "I know you said that you wanted one with a round base." I go, "Yeah, I said it in every email." He goes, "I saw." And I go, "And I was assured in every email that they had one." He goes, "Yeah, I can't find it." He goes, "I'm looking." He goes, "You know what, maybe up in Frank's office or something." I go, "Well, that's fine. Go find it." I go, "Well, because otherwise I'm going to be fucking furious." He goes, "I understand." I go, "I'm not blaming you, Chris. I'm not mad at you. You came into this late in the game." I go, "But the other audio guy and Frank assured me in several correspondences that they had it." He's like, "I know." So I was sitting there, and again, now I'm in a pissed mood already. So he starts walking around looking, and he's doing the thing where he knows they don't have it, but he's now looking in places like, remember when if you were a kid and your mom wanted you to find her keys, and then you're actually looking like under the bed, even though there's no way they're under the bed, or you look in the fridge. It's like you're just doing it to look busy. So he's doing it to look busy because he knows. I can tell he's crestfallen because he knows that there's no mic stand, and they have one. It's the tripod. And I said to him, I go, "You know what's funny?" I go, "In every correspondence with any club or theater that I rent, I make sure that they have a round base microphone stand. And I actually use this wording because those tripods are useless. That's the word I use." And he goes, "I know, I saw." I go, I don't, this is infuriating. And he goes, "I know." I go, "It's not your fault." So he sets up the room. And I didn't have anybody, I may have mentioned to you that I didn't have anybody to work the front. So it was just going to be a zoo of people walking in. Well, when that came out, Michael, who had set up the Boston page, he texted me and he goes, "Hey, I just heard that, Kathleen, my wife, has volunteered. She'll work the front if you want. And then we're bringing friends to the show." I go, "Well, I'll tell you what, if you work the front, I'll comp your friends." He said, "Great." So I said, "Just make sure I'd like you here by 6:30 because the show's at 7:30. And he's like, "No problem." 6:55. I get a text saying, "We're on our way, maybe." Like, it was just this weird, because they got caught on the train. Kathleen they went separately, and look, I don't care. They helped out. Everything turned out fine, but it didn't help that I'm sitting there with no microphone stand and now nobody in front of the house 35 minutes before the show starts. And because then I got to go out there and I got to do it. And I just felt like an ass. So finally, they showed up and they were apologetic, and they didn't have to be. I brought the list out. Now, get this. Now I'm pissed anyway, all right? Because they're a little late, but I'm not mad at them. I'm just mad at circumstance. And then I don't have a microphone stand. So they're at the table up front, and they texted me that they were there, so I brought the list out so they can start checking names off. I walk out, and there's already some people there in the lobby. They're nice. They say hi. And I get to Kathleen and them, and I hand them the list. I hand it to Michael and Kathleen, and there was a man there with a woman, and they were at the table, and he said, "Hey, do we have power?" And I said, "I don't know what that means." He goes, "Do we have power here in the room?" And I go, "Well, yeah, the lights are on. The microphone will be on." And he goes, No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, do I have power? Like, can I sit wherever I want? Can I do whatever I want? I said, "Yeah, I don't care. There's no numbers on the seats. If you're here, go grab a seat. Sit wherever you want." I go, "I don't know about do whatever you want, but you can certainly sit wherever you want." And he goes, "Well, I just wanted to make sure it was okay with you, because I know this is your big night." Like, and I didn't like the tone very much. There could have been no tone. It could have been just me without a microphone stand being pissed. But finally he took a breath, and I go, "You're going to be a problem, aren't you?" And that got a huge laugh, like from the people around. Not a huge laugh, but everybody laughed. And he just goes, no, I didn't mean anything. And I'm just like, fine, sit wherever you want. And I just turned around and walked away. Because, like, I'm in no fucking mood. I'm not doing shtick with you. I don't fucking know you. Like, and because I don't even know if he bought a ticket. He could have been a hobo from from the building. I don't know. And I'm sure he turned out to be a nice fella and he enjoyed the show, I hope. I have no idea. But at the time, I was pissed because the mic stand. So I wasn't in the mood for who's on first with some stranger. Do I have power? What does that mean? Literally, I don't know what that means. So I go in the back and I'm getting ready for the show. And Chris comes back there and we're coordinating the time. And I said to him, and I go, hey, I have a question. I go, how severe is this noise curfew? He goes, well, it's 10:15. I go, I know it's 10:15. He wants me off by 10:15. This was about 7:20, and there was only like 20 people in the house. There wound up being 70. Okay. So people were arriving because parking was a bitch around the building. So I said to him, and I go, how crazy are they going to be if I go over? He goes, honestly, that noise curfew exists because of heavy metal bands. Like, they have metal bands here and punk bands, and it's bass and heavy guitar, and it disturbs everybody in the building. He goes, you're just talking. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I go, I don't think it is either. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to ignore it. I go, I'm telling you that because you're here with me until I leave, and you're running the audio. Is that a problem for you? He goes, well, how much are you going to ignore it? I go, well, he wants the show done by 10:15. If we don't start until 7:35, 7:40, the show's about 3 hours. He goes, so 10:45-ish? I go, yeah, that's probably what I'm looking at. He goes, I'm fine with that. I go, all right, cool. I appreciate it. He goes, yeah, with the mic stand thing and everything. He goes, you've been great. He goes, it's not going to be a problem. I said, good. So he went out to man the audio, and we started the show. And I went out, and again, 70 people were there, and were amazing. We're amazing. And again, this is the part where you get bored, all right? Because every time I go out and do a show, I'm like, it was amazing, it was the best, it was, but it was, and it is. Because I'm constantly reminded when I go out and I do these live shows that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm constantly reminded that you people want me to do that. I've said this before, I've said it a million times. There's no greater privilege than to be paid for being yourself. So to be able to come to your town and have you all come out and support and want to be there. You weren't tricked into coming. You had to come out where there was no fucking parking and come to a YMCA and sit on uncomfortable fucking office chairs, or not even office chairs, like cafeteria chairs. And Stephen and Rebecca came. Rebecca's pregnant. She's like 8.5 months pregnant. I looked at her and I go, you're going to have to put your feet up, or what are you going to do, lay down? And she's like, she's like, I'm just happy to be here. Everybody was so cool. Everybody was great. I met Luis afterwards. I met Sue and Mark and Ricky. Sue's a friend of the show. Sue Cloutier, she made 75 cupcakes.
Wow.
She baked her ass up. She has a company that she's starting, a cupcake company. It's local. They're in Boston. When she gets up and running, I'll plug her, because I asked her if she wanted me to now, and she's like, not just yet. But when she is, I will. But she made cupcakes. She made peanut butter and jelly cupcakes. And she's like, I'd never made them before, so I hope they turned out okay. And I'm like, they're fucking amazing. They were, I couldn't eat them, you know what I mean? I'm like, I can't, because she bought 75 of them, and they were for everybody. I said, everybody, please enjoy them. And then they did, and everybody took them. She gave me a special box of 4 away from everybody else's, and it was just one of each of the ones she made. She made a lemon one, a chocolate, peanut butter one. I mean, just over and above. It was so amazing because people, in addition to that, they bought tickets to the show. You still have to pay to come see me, and then you have to sit through my nonsense. The show was it was 3 hours and 6 minutes. It wound up going, so we got done right around 10:45, and because we started at 7, whatever, just a little after 7:30, and everybody paid attention, and everybody enjoyed it, and they were nice, and they wanted to see it. And then afterwards, everybody was complimentary. I sold out of. Well, no, I think I have one shirt left because I brought extra shirts to sell in addition to shirts for Kickstarter for people, and everybody was very nice. They're just giving money, and they just wanted to meet me and take pictures. And God damn it, I can't tell you how excited I am to do that. I come to town just to meet you guys. I mean, the show is almost incidental. You know what I mean? Like, if I could organize it where I could make money to just come to town and hang out with you and like go to a baseball game and then go have dinner, that'd be fucking outstanding. I mean, you get nothing out of that deal. I get all of it, but who cares? That's how we all know I'm in the let's get stuff for Mike Schmidt society. I've been in that society for quite a long time. But to show up and have everybody there, 70 people, walk-ups, came and paid like 5 or 6 people walked up. We wound up selling 64 over the web. And for them to like it as much as they did and to care and to hang out in a YMCA and then I stayed there until midnight, meeting people, taking pictures, giving shirts, signing stuff. I met like 9 Stevens. I met a Stefan. You know what I mean? I always forget the names of the people that I meet. But thank you so much, all of you, for coming out. It was great. And then John came out. I mentioned John because John came to Cleveland for the show. John lives in Toronto.
Jesus.
He knows I'm coming to Toronto. He still drove to Cleveland to see the show. And then he drove to Boston to see the show. And it's funny, in Cleveland, like I said, this is the month of Mike, June, because we know this is the summer of Christine, as we all know. So in Cleveland, I hung out with Christine when John was there, and he had come all the way from Toronto, but he didn't want to say, can we hang out? And he saw that I was hanging out with Christine anyway, so he was very nice and hung out that night and then said goodbye and never made me feel bad about it. Never like, well, I came all the way from Toronto, nothing like that. So in Boston, he hung out with, and Jamie was there too, and then Michael and Kathleen were there, and Drew hung out with Adam. Adam was with Drew. And we hung out talking and taking pictures and everything at the end, and then we all drifted apart. And John was like, "Hey, I'm starving. Do you wanna eat something?" And I said, "Yeah." And Jamie's like, "Hey, I'll go." And that it can get weird at the end of the show because nobody knows one another. The only thing anybody has in common is they like me and they know who I am. So then when I start hanging out with people, if you get more than 4 people, and I just don't want to. It's disparate personalities all being thrust into an awkward situation. But you guys made it so cool, and the cupcakes made it almost like this camaraderie where we all in it together, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. So me, John, and Jamie hung out. We had to walk to the car. Drew was with us, and he found his way to his car because he had to go to work that night. And then we were looking for a place to eat. And John, he didn't care that Jamie was coming. And Jamie was cool to hang out with John. It didn't turn into a thing where I had to referee anybody or say, well, I got to go with this person, not this person. We went and found the car. And then, because there were plenty of places we walked past to eat, but they didn't look good. So John's like, I want to go to a nice place, which was fucking perfect because it's exactly what I want to do. I don't want to drink. I want to go just hang out, decompress. So I Googled, like best place for late night food. And we found one place that was close. We pulled up, it was completely packed. And it was more of a bar anyway. So as we were sitting there, I found another place called the East Side West Side Diner, I think. And it was close. It was a mile from where we were. We parked right in front. They were open to 1:30. We walked in, and I heard diner, and I was like, well, open to 1:30. I don't give a shit. I just want to sit in a place. We walked in. There's fucking hot girls in dresses. It's a bar with people because the Celtics had played that night and won. So there was this huge cool vibe where everybody was really happy. And there were Celtics fans. And then there were elegant people in suits and dresses. And we sat down. They brought the menu. They had a fucking raw bar at 1 a.m. So I got ceviche, a fucking shrimp cocktail, and they had roast beef sandwiches and calamari and just fresh seafood, and it was such good food, and it was open late. And me, Jamie, and John hung out all night. We just hung out for like an hour and a half, eating, talking. And then I had put on Facebook the next day that my flight was supposed to leave at 6, but somehow American had changed it to 7:30. So I had nothing to do during the day. I had a plan. There was a sandwich place I wanted to go to. So I put it on my Facebook wall. If anybody want to hang out on Saturday, I'll buy lunch and you can bring me to the airport. And, people were just kind of, nobody really stepped up to volunteer right away. Although I will say this, there's a guy named JJ who's a friend of mine on Facebook. And he's a kid in Boston. I think he's only like 21. He writes on the wall. He's like, I haven't heard the show in a while, but I'll give you a ride to the airport if you need one. Like, guy doesn't even know me. He hasn't heard the show. He doesn't know anything about it. He just happened to see that come up in his fucking stream and said, yeah, I'll do it. And then the worst part is like 9 people then yell at him. Hey, don't you listen to the show? Answer his questions. What about lunch? Because remember I said that Don Mitri never answered my questions in Cleveland. So everybody busts JJ's balls. They're like, what about lunch? What about the sunset? And JJ's like, hey, lunch would be awkward. I don't know. I just want to take him to the airport. Like he was reeling. And I understood it was funny because everybody was trying to be nice, but they were defending me, but not really. It was just a funny thing to see these guys go at one another. And poor JJ's like, I don't know, his head's spinning. He's made an offer to drive me to the airport. And then John had written on the wall that he would take me to the airport. So after we finished at East Side West Side Diner, Jamie walks home from there, and John drives me to my hotel. He's like, hey man, I can come pick you up tomorrow. What time you think, 12 or 1? And I said, well, 1. I don't have to be at the airport till like 5. I go, we can go to lunch and hang out. And he goes, all right, I'll be here at 1. I said, great. So I went upstairs, and I had that box of 4 cupcakes, but I didn't open it. I took it home because I wanted Karen to have some, you know. So, and then I just crashed. I was so tired. I finally went to sleep around 4. And I could not sleep. I got up at 9:30 and went online, and then I packed my room, took a shower, got ready to go, and he showed up at 1. I went downstairs. The place I wanted to go to was a sandwich place called Cuddy's. And the reason I wanted to go there is because on Saturdays they get roast pork, and it's fresh roast pork, and they have a sandwich. It's roast pork with pickled onions and garlic and fennel. And then another sandwich where it's roast pork with provolone and broccoli rabe, and it's on like homemade sesame seed crusty rolls. And I was excited to go. It was also voted best sandwich in Boston. So I was excited. I had mentioned it to John. He's like, okay. So I get down to the lobby. I check out. There was a leak in my room. This is funny because it was raining. It poured rain on Saturday. So all of a sudden I hear drip, drip, drip. I look over by my front door, and there's 2 heavy drips coming from the ceiling. The ceiling is kind of bowing a little bit in that position where there's water dripping out onto the rug. So I called downstairs, and it's only it was about 10 a.m. I said, hey, there's a leak in my room. And she goes, well, when are you leaving? I said, well, I don't leave until like 1. I said, but, you know, the leak's up here. She goes, well, I can send maintenance up. And I go, well, I don't know if maintenance is here yet because it's only, it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So are they even on duty? She goes, and I went, it's 9:30, 10 o'clock, isn't it? She goes, yeah. And I go, I'm from California. I'm in California time. I apologize. She goes, I didn't want to correct you, but yes, maintenance is already here. I said, well, if you want to send them up, go ahead. She goes, well, no, you know what? I don't want to disturb you. If you're not leaving till 1, I'll just make sure maintenance comes up and checks out at 1 o'clock. I said, the ceiling is hanging, like it's bowing down, and the rug is soaked. Like it's going to ruin the room. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, I didn't know that. I go, what? There's a leak in the room. What did you think it was? I told you the ceiling is leaking on the rug. So she said, oh, I'll get maintenance up right away. So maintenance came up, and they, amazing staff. Maintenance walked in. They go, oh my gosh, we'll take care of that. And they came in, and they put a wastebasket under it. That's what they did. That's how they fixed the leak. And I said, it's still leaking. And they're like, yes, but we'll wait till you check out. And then we'll come in and we'll tear it all up and we'll fix it. I said, all right, that's a few hours from now. They go, that's fine. I said, okay, fellas. So they split. I took my shower, packed my room. I bailed. I went downstairs. There was John. Checked out. And I go, hey, because this place closed at 3. So, and also they run out of the pork. Like I wanted to get over there. So he looks at me and I go, hey, you ready to go? And he goes, well, you want the good news or the bad news? And I go, well, bad news always. And he just goes, that place closes at 3. I go, I know, that's why it's 1. That's why we got to hustle over there. He goes, yeah, but, I checked it out online. It's a hole in the wall. There's only like 2 tables. It's really small, and there's a really long wait all the time. I said, that's why we got to go now. John, it closes at 3. It's 1. And in my head, I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? Because I don't know John very well. He's a nice guy, but whatever. And he goes, well, you want the good news? And I said, yeah. And he goes, what do you think's in that bag right there? And he had gone to Cuddy's, bought the sandwiches, and brought them to the hotel. And again, like I said, he was super nice. He also paid for the diner, all the food at the diner. He paid for me and Jamie. Didn't no stink about it. Just like when Martin paid for me and Ian and Jamie. And yes, it was the same Jamie. I don't know why Jamie got to eat free all weekend on my dime, but good for him. He helped set up like 20 chairs, and then he ate like a king for 3 days. Good for you, Jamie. Smart. So he went and got the sandwiches. That's how he knew it was a small place and tiny and a big wait. And he got. I was like, dude, really? And he goes, yeah, we can hang out here. Because I had told him, I go, I'll just sit in the lobby. I don't give a fuck. And so we did. We hung out in the lobby. And I opened the sandwiches, and he got. And then but I will say I was pissed because he went and got the sandwiches, and in my head, I'm like, he didn't ask me what I wanted. Like, if he didn't buy, what if he bought like what he wanted? It's going to suck. Like, I was like, I must admit that's where my mind went because I was like, this is a cool gesture. But at the same time, what if I wanted both of those pork sandwiches? I wanted to try them. And what if he didn't get them? Fuck. So we sat down, and sure enough, I opened up and he goes, I got 3 sandwiches. And he got both of the pork sandwiches. And then he got a roast beef sandwich that the woman recommended. And he's like, yeah, I'll take that. So we sat in the lobby for 4 hours. Talking, eating sandwiches, we each split up the pork sandwich, and then I only had like one bite of the roast beef. I couldn't eat more than one sandwich, and he wolfed it down. Boy, did he go to work. God, that guy can eat. And he's from Toronto. He's got a girlfriend, and he was so nice, just like jovial and nice. I told him, I go, you know who you are, dude? You're like Santa Claus. Like, because he's that nice. Like, he was willing to he just got sandwiches, and he said, let's hang out. And he was curious about the show. Like, he's like, he actually said, I don't believe that you don't script it out.
He doesn't.
I go, what do you mean you don't believe it? He goes, well, I mean, he goes, I don't know how you can talk without saying and you know, and I don't know why how can you talk that long without having a script? And I go, all right, fuck you, John. And I took out my notebooks. And I said, this is what I have. And I showed him the beat sheets for like episodes. And then I pulled out my High School Musical notepad. And I said, here was the Boston show. And I showed it to him. I held it up and I go, he goes, well, I don't know how you put it together. So he was genuinely curious. So I explained to him how I put the show together. How Friday, when I say Fridays for show prep, it's because I'm basically writing the hour ramp up that happened while I was in Boston. I'm remembering the family of 6. I'm remembering the white powder. I'm putting it all in order, and I'm trying to make it jokes. You know what I mean? You still have to make it funny. You can't just sit here and talk. Although I may be disproving that right now, because I've been in the just sitting here and talking society for quite a long time. Actually, I hope that I make it as funny as I possibly can. But he was great. So we hung out and talked, and then we finished the sandwiches, and like an hour and a half went by, and I'm like, I think I want sushi. And he's like, let's get some sushi. He was like ready to get sushi. And I'm like, dude, I'm just bored. I can't fucking eat any sushi. I can't do it. So we hung out. We hung out all day until it was time to go to the airport. And then he drove me to fucking Logan from the hotel. And he's going to come to Toronto. He's like, yeah, I'll definitely see you in Toronto. I'm like, that's amazing. You know, you don't have to. And he's like, I know I don't have to. I want to. Could not have been friendlier. Could not have been nicer. And you know, and I did not eat any of the avocado off of my plate. Unbelievably, that's the contrast, Boston. You've got a friendly John who comes from Toronto, and then you got a local Drew who'll eat all your fucking avocado. I should tell you this. So then the next day, there was my dinner. The fucking Drew wrote a blog post called "My Dinner with Mike Schmidt," the 40-year-old boy, and I went and read it, and he mentioned the avocado, and he said it was really awkward for a while, but then we were able to get squared away again for dinner. And then on stage, I mentioned the avocado thing. And he almost died laughing. Like, literally, he was going to fucking... I thought he wasn't going to breathe the rest of the night. And I said, because then I read your blog, and you're like, oh, yeah, it was awkward. I go, I didn't think it was that awkward. I go, this is fucking awkward. You want awkward? It's awkward because you scooped up and ate all my goddamn avocado, you monster. But I mean, other than the avocado getting stolen, I had an amazing weekend in Boston. It was fantastic. From fucking Fenway, like I said, I got to see that guy call like a dude a nigger, which was perfect. And then Thursday, I went to dinner. It was great, except for the avocado incident, which we know ruined everything, as we all know, because Drew Bennett is in the avocado theft / ruining dinner society. But then Friday was great hanging out, and then Saturday I hung out with John the whole time. I get to the airport, and it was just I couldn't ask for a better trip. And I had a great time in Cleveland. I've had a great time everywhere. Every time I go, I say that I don't think it's going to be good or it won't be the same, and it always turns out great. And so I get there and I check into the airport at Logan. I walk in, I get to security, and I come around and I hand my boarding pass and my license to the lady, and I hear, "Look who it is!" And I look over, and walking up are Armin and Amanda. And I look at them and I go, "You're joking." And they go, "No, what? Oh my God." And they go, "What flight are you on?" I go, "I'm flying back to LA at 7:35. And they go, "Us too." And I said, "Great." And because they were really friendly and nice. I could not get enough of them. They were so cool. And they go, "Yeah, sorry we didn't make it out last night. The conference ran late." I go, "That's fine. I talked to you about you for about an hour." And they go, "Did you really?" And I go, "What do you think?" And then they laughed. And I go, "But no, seriously, I did mention you guys." They're like, "Why would you talk about it?" I go, "Whatever. Who cares? No, there's no reason to go into it. But yes, I did mention you." And I talked about the podcast. And they're like, "We got to listen to the podcast." I go, "All right, go right ahead." And they go, "Where are you sitting?" And I said, "Well, I was in 25F. But then I changed it because there was nobody in 34, and they just start laughing because there was literally empty row 34. So I took 34F. They held up their tickets, 32 and 33F. Or I was in 35F and they were in 34 and 33F, and they just start laughing. And I go, why how the fuck did you get those tickets? I go, there was nobody in the row when I checked in. And they go, yeah, well, we didn't check in. I go, what do you mean you didn't check in? They go, we just checked in now at the gate. I go, you don't check in online? And they go, well, no, we came in and we said, are there 2 seats together? And they said, these are the only 2 seats together on the plane. And I went, God damn it, really? Really? I go, well, I'm not apologizing this time. I don't give a fuck if I ruin your flight. And they laughed, of course. They were very nice. And we went to the gate. And it was raining. So, of course, our 7:15 flight became 7:30, became 8:20. You know what I mean? Became all those different times. We're waiting together and we're sitting in the airport. And we go to get on the plane. And before we get on the plane, we were so bored. He's like, are you hungry? I go, I'm just bored. I go, let's go eat. So we walked down to the food court. Everything was closed except for this one pizza joint. And he goes, do you want to split a pizza with me? And I go, you know what, honestly, dude, I'm going to go to McDonald's. It's right next door. So I go to McDonald's. And I start talking to this woman, heavy Boston accent. And she's like, yeah, how you doing? Can I help you? I can't do a Boston accent. Unless she just went, Tommy Quincy. That's all I can say. Or I can do it as kind of, can I help you at McDonald's? I mean, there you go. That's what she sounded like. And so... And she did very close. It was spot on. So we're talking, and she's like, yeah, we've got this, we got that. And I go, all right, so you are open? And she goes, yes. And I go, I can't, you know what? I go, this is the problem. You can't. And Armin comes over to me, and he starts talking to her. And they start talking about, he's like, yeah, I haven't eaten McDonald's in like 20 years. And she goes, well, me neither. She goes, I did, and then I got sick, and then I can't eat any of this food. And, we haven't even fixed our menu. This crap that we serve, it's so bad. We could be healthy, and they got so much money. They could be the leaders in health, but instead they serve all this crap, and I can't eat this crap. And I go, well, I have a rule. I don't eat anywhere where the person who works there calls the food crap 3 times. And she goes, I don't blame you, hon. So we went back to the pizza joint. He goes, are you going to eat? I go, no, dude, I'm just bored. I'm not hungry. So we walk back, and so funny, they were milling about. We get to the plane, everybody's gone. They're on the plane. The only person waiting is Amanda. So we get on the plane, we all sit in our seats, and it turns out the back of the plane, there's like 4 empty rows. So Armin's like, can we move? She goes, yeah, once we're in the air. And it was great. So they got up, a 6 hour and 25-minute flight or whatever it was. I was alone in my own row. They got up, they moved, they sat down, we flew, and then once we were in the air and the seatbelt light came off, he brought me half a pizza. I didn't even say I wanted it, but they just laid it on the seat and walked away. And so friendly, so nice, so amazing, as was everybody on the trip and in all the trips. Every city I've gone to, I have not had a bad time anywhere. But, of course, the one that's fresh in your mind is the one that you need to talk about. And from everyone coming to, the guys coming to help set up chairs, Martin and Jamie and Ian. And Ian I met his girlfriend. I think it was Mayan. She had a really pretty name. I'm hoping it was Mayan. I hope I'm not chili dipping that name, but she was really nice. And then she wrote me a really nice note after the show. And everybody also, responding on Facebook and writing me notes and telling me how much they enjoyed it and whether it touched them or it made them laugh. I don't care. I'm happy, whatever the way, to get a reaction out of you guys. I'm happy to do it. But you also made it like this real sense of community. Like, you came and helped set up the chairs. I went to dinner and you hung out. We hung out for almost an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then John and I hung out and had dinner. It felt like visiting friends. It didn't feel like working. When I used to do stand-up on the road, I would go and travel, and I'd wind up locked up in my hotel room all the time, and I still like doing that, don't get me wrong. But to go to these places and have people that want me to be there and want to hang out with me and look forward to seeing me and meeting me, it changes everything. It makes me want to do it every goddamn week, twice a week, 3 times a week. I wish I had that kind of support. I wish I had that kind of fan backing that I could go out to different cities every week and meet people. And the show's almost incidental to meeting everyone and thanking you guys. It's funny, you guys all come up to me and you thank me for doing the show, and I get you through night shifts, or I get you through college, or I get you through long car rides. And man, I got to thank you, because if it's not for you, this doesn't exist. I would say that to people there. Anybody who gave to Kickstarter, if you didn't give to Kickstarter, I don't wind up in Boston. If you don't listen, I certainly don't wind up in Boston. I'm not here doing this now. I'm talking into the ether. I'm talking to nobody. And don't kid yourselves. I'd be talking by myself at my house probably. But just to have you guys and have you be interested and have you care, because I care. I know that sounds stupid, but I do care. I care that you like me and you like the show, and it's what I want it to be. I may purport that I don't care, but I do. Fuck yeah, of course I do, or else I wouldn't do this. And to know that you guys are out there and care at the same level or even more, that makes me happy, and it makes me want to continue to do this. So while part of me is certainly in the I can't believe how fucking lucky you people are to hear my voice society, please know that I'm also in the eternally grateful and will always be thankful to all of you society. You guys can get me at mike@mikeshmidtcomedy.com. You guys can be my friend at facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp at 2 Twitter accounts, twitter.com/MNTs and twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can be her friend on Facebook at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can be our friend Dave Hernandez, who does all of the crazy artwork, at facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. And if you want to send Lily a personal note, and you want to find out exactly at what point in this marathon show did her jaw start to give out, you can go ahead and write her at lily@burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. Her name is Michelle Jacobs. Her name is Michelle Jacobs. Her name is Michelle Jacobs. His name is Count Carabella Vixensled. His name is Count Carabella Vixensled. His name is Count Carabella Vixensled. Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine, 10 o'clock p.m. It is the longest-running, most successful, sexiest, hottest burlesque show in the history of Los Angeles. And it is, as I mentioned, run by my good friend and producer, Lily Von Stupp, who happens to be here right now. Hey, Lily.
Hi, Michael.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How's your jaw? You were making a little jaw flexor action. Yeah?
Sore. I ate some popcorn today at a movie.
That's a rough one. Popcorn's rough. Yeah. That's rough if you got a good jaw.
Yeah, I didn't eat a lot. Just, and I let it sit on my tongue and kind of melt so I can mush it.
Ugh.
A lot of jaw.
That squishy popcorn's terrible.
But I just was craving popcorn. I was in a movie, and you can only do what you can do.
True. Exactly. How was this week's tease?
Fantastic. The show was amazing.
Your boy Russell, who was here 2 weeks ago, I understand he's the reigning king of burlesque now.
King of burlesque. My friend Russell from Portland. I'm so proud of him.
Good for him.
Oh, it's just amazing.
I saw that picture of him doing the splits on your stage. That was pretty cool.
He's fucking phenomenal. He's an incredible dancer. He's good looking. He's just fun, and he's probably like the nicest guy.
That's great.
Yeah, he deserved it. He really deserved it.
Good.
Really.
And that was the Burlesque Hall of Fame thing this weekend where they had all the voting.
It's like the Olympics of burlesque.
Right, and
it is the trophy to win.
And a lot of your friends won stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of people who have performed on my stage, and some of them very good friends, took titles home, so it was pretty good.
Nice.
And then the title of the Queen of Burlesque actually went to
someone from Australia,
Kelly
right?
From Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imogene Kelly?
Imogene Kelly.
That's actually a pretty good burlesque
Great
name. Well, good. That sounds fun. And your show went well because then they were out of town, but then some of them came in. And
the Tulsa Skull Swingers played after the show.
that's our friends Blaine Capatch and Craig Anton and Ron Lynch.
Ron Lynch and the Powell twins also sing and go-go dance during the show.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Phenomenal. And just the performances were fantastic. I got to host. I had a great time.
Cool. Who's coming up this week?
This week I have an entire troupe in from New York called Rhinestone Gorilla Burlesque.
Rhinestone Gorilla Burlesque.
Yes. And
Gorilla,
they are-
Gorilla, or Guerilla?
Gorilla. Actual gorilla.
Like ape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're fantastic, wonderful. I met them 5 years ago at the Boston Burlesque Festival.
Whoa.
I know. I was going to come with you to Boston because I have a lot of friends in Boston. They were all in Vegas.
At the Burlesque Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So I was like, it wouldn't make any sense for me to go.
Yeah.
None of my
Well,
friends-
people ask. People always ask. You know, one time we'll get you there. You know what? If you want to see me with Lily, you want to see me live with Lily, go out to lapodfest.com and grab some tickets to come out here in October and check us out on our home turf. Why should we come to you? So anyway, I apologize. So Rhinestone
I'm
Gorilla.
still trying to figure. I'm thinking of having a costume made.
Oh, for the
For
show?
the LA podcast.
Oh, so you don't care if anyone hears a word I say.
I just think it would be really cool.
Do it. I think it'd be awesome.
It would be absolutely ridiculous.
I'm all for it.
But it would be like a 40-year-old boy corset with your face on my tits.
Hmm?
I think it would be hysterical.
I can arrange that, actually.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. A picture that Mex drew of your face.
Oh, I see. All right. I didn't realize. Yeah, you really got to specify because,
40-year-old boy logo right here. Don't you think that'd be hysterical?
sure. Yeah, right there. Of course. All right. So Rhinestone Gorilla Burlesque is here this week, and that's going to be a fun show. It's at 10 o'clock at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine, and our friend Lily will be there. You're not hosting or anything, though, are you?
No, actually. actually.
No,
They're
but-
bringing a host with them. They do game shows. It's going to be great.
Oh, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and Lily will be there. So stop by and say hello to Lily and come out and check out the show. Should be fun. And don't forget, tickets are on sale at MondayNightTees.com for the Prince show, which
Yes,
is coming
they
up
are.
in July. Erotic Titty. Should be going. I'm definitely going. I can't wait to be there. So that's going to be exciting. The Prince show is going to be there. And if Lily does the things that she's told me she's going to do, I can't wait to see them, which should be fun. You don't know yet? You're still up in the air? All right.
That
Well,
was
good.
my impersonation of what I was going to
Oh, good. Well, hopefully, you know what? I can't wait to see your costume, and you'll have the 40-year-old boy's face right there on your tits. So that'll be good. Should be exciting. Remember, you can go to facebook.com/the40-year-old boy and become my friend. And while you're there, you can go ahead and check out all of the Bring Mike Schmidt 2 pages. Everything's still frozen right now. I won't lie to you. I mean, Detroit, I haven't made any progress in the past week because I was out of town. I was in Boston. Another city has entered the fray. I won't get into it, but at least until I find out, because I don't want to say, because it's not, you know what I mean? It's who knows? I have no clue. Because if nothing happens, then people are pissed. Because already I got people, some great people in Detroit continue to write me trying to help with names of venues. And I try those venues and then they don't return a phone call, or they're too big, or everybody in Detroit's being very cool and I'm really trying. But see, that's what I'm saying. If I say a city, then people they get cool about it, and then it just doesn't work out and I feel like a dick. But everything else is kind of backburned right now. But there are tickets on sale for, it is, as I said, June is the month of Mike during the summer of Christine. The month of Mike is June 15th. In a couple of weeks, I'll be in Kansas City at the Westport Coffee House Theater. Hey, I had talked about filming there and audio taping. That's never happening in a million years because I have sold no tickets. So, I mean, if people want to hear me talk alone, listen to this fucking show. But still, it doesn't mean I don't want people to come out. So if you want to buy a ticket, that would be great. Tickets are on sale at brownpapertickets.com. Our friend Terry, I think it's Lacaz. I don't know why am I saying last names all of a sudden? But Terry's a cool guy, and he was really excited about me coming to town, and he bought his tickets today, as a matter of fact. And then he Twittered, just bought my tickets to see the 40-year-old boy in Kansas City. Don't be an asshole. Buy yours. Good for you, Terry. So that was exciting. I don't know if that technique is going to work, but what I've done up to now has not worked. So maybe Terry goes fucking Iron Fist and it works. Good for you, Terry. Terry's in the Don't Be an Asshole Society. Good for him. So I hope people will buy tickets to Kansas City June 15th, the Westport Coffee House Theater. And then June 29th, I'm in Toronto, Canada, at the Comedy Bar. Tickets are on sale now. Tickets are moving for that, but I'd still like to sell more, obviously. But if you need to get tickets for Toronto, they are available at brownpapertickets.com. June 29th. Show is, I think, at 7:30. I got to talk to Comedy Bar because I've been told now there's a show after me, which I didn't think that was the case, and whatever. So I'll figure it out. Who knows? But Toronto, either way, regardless, 7:30 Toronto at Comedy Bar, June 29th. Come on out to the show and check it out. Should be fun. Tickets are on sale now at Brown Paper Tickets for both of those shows. And also tickets on sale for Indianapolis, July 27th at the Indy Fringe Theater. And by the way, Indianapolis is making Kansas City look like Boston because Indianapolis was Indianapolis and Kansas City were two of the longest tenured pages to bring Mike Schmidt to town. And I think all of the people who were on those initial pages died, I think, because none of them are buying any tickets. But and again, Indianapolis is further in the distance. Kansas City's a fucking week away. But Indianapolis also they're woefully behind even Kansas City. So I hope if you're there and you're going to buy tickets, that would be great. I'd appreciate it. And like I said, other cities are kind of in play. I'm talking to some people and finding some stuff out, but hopefully that'll happen soon. Remember to go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com right now. You can go to the Joe Business page, and available there are the Thorgar and Yeep and Fireboy mugs. They're available through Zazzle. There's a link right there on Joe Business. Also, there's tweakedaudio.com/40 links where you can get autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and Conquering watches. Those are available now and for all eternity. And there's also the download links. You can get year 1, year 2, year 3, and now year 4 of this podcast. And if you'd like to get them individually, they're $25 each. But if you'd like to get them as a set, if you'd like to get the Podcast of the Caribbean set, it's available right now for just $75. That's like buying 3 and getting 1 free, folks. Why not do that? Turn a friend on to all of the Mike Schmidt you can. And that's, of course, the Curse of the Black Schmidt, On Stranger Mikes, and the other two that I don't remember right now off the top of my head because I've been talking for 9 hours. But they are available right now at the Joe Business page. Go ahead and click on those. And again, in the upper left-hand corner of MikeSchmidtComedy.com, every page, there's a donation link. You can subscribe. You can have $2 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month. Or you can make a one-time donation. That would be great, too. Always appreciated. We also started this week selling T-shirts for the 40-Year-Old Boy Show. I was doing city-specific shirts and bringing them from town to town, and that got to be a bit much, particularly for David, who has to do all of the work. I'm all for it. I'm like, yay, we got shirts for your city. Yay, they're fantastic. Hey, Dave, what'd you come up with? Which is not good. It puts it in his lap, and it makes him, and he's busy. He's got his own stuff going on now. He's got a real life. He's got kids. He's got a family. So he did as best he could to keep up with my whims. And then finally he said, hey, why don't we do specific shirts? We'll do 2 shirts for the show, and you can bring them city to city, order them ahead of time. You don't have to deal with ordering stuff and dealing with stuff getting delivered on time, because I had to have the Boston shirts shipped to Boston. Drew was nice enough to, that was another thing he carried upstairs. He had a nice chest mark lapel and all of the shirts. Like, he carried all of that up to the 16th floor. Jesus. Does that make up for eating all the avocado? Fuck no, it doesn't. All right, so I agreed with David. I said, that's a great idea. So we designed, David came up with, we talked about it. He came up with great designs. And so those shirts are available now. They're $20 on my website, $25 if you need them shipped. You can go to facebook.com and see the actual display of the shirts. There's a Red Boy is one of them. There's a red shirt, and there's another one's called Scar Panda, and it's kind of like Scarface, but it's little Schmitty holding a panda head. And people have asked me what's on the back of the shirts. On the back of the shirts, there's a little logo. If you look on the Facebook ad, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the little silhouette of the Schmitty head. That's what's on the back of the shirt. It's not big. It's small. It's up near the collar. So it's kind of subdued. We didn't go with the Schmidt 40. On the front is the shirt, and on the back is just the little Schmitty head. It's like the Nike swoosh of the show. So we're going to be branding it with that. So that's what's on the back of the shirts, and I'm excited for it. They look amazing. Well, let's put it this way. The designs look amazing. I don't have the shirts yet. So if you order shirts, please be patient, because they haven't even gotten to me just yet. But once they do, I will be happy to send them out. So people have already started ordering, which is great. When you order these shirts, again, like I said, they're $20 if you're going to come to a live show, $25 if you need them shipped. And also international shipping rates may be more than that. So you'll order through my website, through the donation link, and then you'll have to send me a follow-up email telling me that you want a shirt. You'll tell me if it's a Red Boy or Scar Panda. You'll tell me what size, and you'll tell me your address, and you'll tell me all your secrets. That's all very important to me. So if you want a shirt, go ahead and order it through the website. We that's all about to be changed. We're going to have a page with an actual link for the shirts. And once that happens, then I won't have to give you this fucking speech. But right now I do. So go ahead and check it out. Check out the shirts. I hope you like them, and I hope you'll order them. That would be fantastic. And now I'm off to play poker, I think. I'm supposed to play poker. It's late. This is a long record, folks. So I think I'm going to play poker. I don't know. They just texted me. They're like, poker? Because normally we play Thursdays. But it's just an excuse to sit there with my friends and listen to music and laugh, Oh, fuck. That's what I was going to say earlier in the show. I watched the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on HBO. I can't believe I just fucking remembered this. Did anybody see it? I hope you did, because Guns N' Roses was on, and it was worth it to see them play together. Even Axl wasn't there. They had Miles on vocals, and that's fine, but it's still to hear the music and see the fans. It was great. I'm not even a Red Hot Chili Peppers guy, but I have to admit, they were great. They fucking, because Flea shredded. That was perfect. But, and the Beastie Boys were amazing, and then they had a tribute to the Beastie Boys with fucking Kid Rock and I forget who. Unfortunately, the other rappers were. Was Trouble one? I don't know. Whatever. But it was killer, and it was so fun to watch. But dudes, again, old people steal everything. Old people steal the spotlight. Did you see the small faces on the fucking HBO Hall of Fame show? Rod Stewart didn't make it, but Mick Hucknall from Simply Red sang lead. And they did Stay With Me. Dudes, look, I've seen the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones are the Rolling Stones. It was like, Mick and Keith. And Ron Wood is looked at as this like cigarette smoking stooge. He looks like a ghoul on the side of the stage. Even more of a ghoul than Keith Richards, quite frankly. I think Ron Wood looks much worse than Keith Richards. Keith Richards has always looked like Keith Richards. Ron Wood turned into like this Ichabod looking motherfucker. And so you're always like, whatever, he's just there. Bullshit. Watch The Small Faces on HBO, the Hall of Fame special, and watch him shred fucking Stay With Me. He's all over the place. The solo's amazing, but then the rhythm, the fucking, because that song's a great guitar song, and he tears it up. And even looking like death. I mean, he's looking awful. And it's great when he gets the induction, and he mentions Ronnie Lane, and he talks about Rod Stewart, and you hear him actually speak, because you forget these guys are people. Like Mick, you hear speak all the time. Keith, you hear mumble like a motherfucker, or you go see Pirates, and you just see Johnny Depp be Keith Richards. But man, to hear Ron Wood talk, and he's very gracious and thanking everybody, and then he just gets the car, he's like, yeah, fuck this, let's play some music, and just fries your face off with fucking Stay With Me. And Mick Hucknall, to the point where when you see that stuff happen, I talked about this before, you wonder why they don't just go out. Like, why don't the Small Faces just go, you know what, fuck this, let's hire Mick Hucknall and go out and play some shows, because it would be fucking perfect. People would be killing for it. Why not? Especially when you see that they can still do it. Because normally if they're all arthritic and they can't fucking make it happen, that's one thing. But these motherfuckers made it happen. They destroyed. They hung right in there. They blew away Guns N' Roses, as far as I'm concerned. Guns was great, but still the spark was missing. Although, I'll tell you what, it was funny to watch Guns N' Roses play with Steven Adler on drums, because Steven Adler is just, he's such a junkie, he should be drumming with needles instead of sticks. I mean, that's how fucking crazy bad he is. But the fact that you couldn't get the smile off his face, he was so happy to be playing music with his friends, you almost excused all of the shitty, horrible things he's done to himself and to his life. But just watching him celebrate, because, you know, Duff was there, and then they brought Gilby up, and because I have a tone. Because you know why? Because I talk quickly and I don't fucking think. That's why. I think that's what it means when you have a tone. Is you don't fucking bother to care what comes flying out of your goddamn mouth. I try to grow the show and I want people to get on board, and they're like, I listen to it and you talk too fast. Really, I talk too fast. How the hell else am I supposed to cram all of this into a small 3-hour window? Dude, there's no script. I just go with this shit on the fly. It makes me laugh. If it doesn't make you laugh, turn the fucking station. And by turn the station, I mean turn the wheel of your car right into a guardrail. Jesus fuck. Hey, where you going, boy?